Hey guys, it is Paul, and I'm here to talk tabletop with you again. I've got a guest with me. Just met him this past weekend at EggCon the third, I believe it was. And was that your first EggCon that you jumped out to?
Yes, that was my first egg con. You are correct. Well, you must be
Awesome.
psychic.
Yeah, right. I wasn't sure. It's yeah, because it seems like it's slowly building. I think with EggCon, they were like, we want to do something for Gary, but not have it become like as explosively huge as Gary Con, where it's like that's a fun time, but it is kind of like a madhouse because they take over like the Grand Geneva, and it is just like it is drunken debauchery everywhere. So
Oh my, how
right,
fun!
right, but
What I liked about this one being a a sophomore, no, a junior convention, their
mhm,
third year, was how it seemed to have some nice teeth to it, but it wasn't overwhelming. And I was shocked with how many pros, played each other's games. I mean, it was almost like all the pros made games, and then
right.
all the pros tried each other's games to kind of give unlike the fans who might be like, I just love it because I'm playing. Oh my god, this is great. The pros are like, well, if you change this and this and this, that might work better. Or, oh, I never even thought of doing something like that. Mind if I borrow it?
Right? Yeah, that was the cool thing. It seemed like there was a lot of networking in between all these guys. There was one artist I ran into, and my buddy Seth that I was rooming with knew him. What was his name? I forget. He had a lot of cool custom shirts, and he was the one that had the puzzles at his booth and whatnot. He had a really cool,
Yes.
almost like a Disney style art. Like it's very detailed and really just kind of it's cartoony but not exaggerated. But he
We
just
call
had a
that
really beautiful.
clean.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, clean line work. So I was like, man, and that's one of those things where you could approach these guys and be like, "What is that? Oh, is that one of his?
No,
Oh
that's one
no,
of
that's one
mine.
of yours." Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
I forgot. Yeah, Cat
clean
Godzilla.
line work. Done with Jason Spriggs. But we'll tell you about that in a bit. Sorry for
Sure.
for diverging.
No, no, no worries.
Well,
But so the first question I usually ask people is how did you what was your introduction to role playing games? What was the first game you played and what was that like?
years ago in high school, that's usually often when we're infected
Sure.
um, or inoculated, depending on your view. I had I was bullied a lot as a kid to where I had to go to different schools, and then sometimes some of the same people would go, and it would begin again, and they have to go to another school. So now it's high school, and one of my friends was like, "Hey, I want to bring you to one of the guys who hates you, but he wants to play D&D, and
Okay.
maybe if you could do this, maybe it could work out." So he came, and he was like, "Oh, not this guy," because I was just all hyperactive and goofy, you know. And then I said, "Look, I'll behave," blah 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 blah. And so I played a magic user, an
Okay.
illusionist, and a girl, just to be annoying. And I was able to outthink and outmaneuver everything he did. And he couldn't believe it. And he's like, the only way I could kill you is if I were to cheat. And I'm not going to cheat. I mean, and then we started getting together again and again and again. And we have developed such a close relationship. I've been to his weddings, his parents' funerals. We become super close.
Right.
And ironically, the close childhood friend who brought me, he got married, drifted away in different things. But that was my first foray into it. Then when I really got heavily into it, again, late high school, there was another friend who that's all he had. He was Alaska, very shy, and that's really how he communicated with people.
Right.
And he came up with his own game systems, and I would play test him, and we'd have fun. And then, you fade away for a while, then you bump into people. Oh, can you play this? And it builds up again, ebbs, fades, so on and so forth. And then uh, what kind of evolved was doing comic books, and then eventually I delved into designing games and board games.
Gotcha. So
Yeah.
for comics, which did you work for any of the big companies or was this all indie stuff?
No, it everything is indie with me. for now.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Um, I even have a comic book in the Field Museum's permanent archive.
Oh wow.
Right. So it's funny on educational tracks when people know about me,
Hmm.
it's like, oh, you're that guy. Whoa, come on down. So it gets pretty fun.
Right.
You know, Boy, do I want to ask you a lot of questions. Like, what is your
Sure.
favorite game, and what guided you into other games with other rules?
Well, that was the thing. When I started off, it was my brother. He's 8 years older than me, so I was kind of like his test pilot.
Ah,
I was his Hal Jordan. He would be like, "All right, we're gonna play this." I'm like, "All right." I'm like 7 or 8 or something at the time, so I'm like, "Whatever you say, let's give it a shot. I need to roll these dice or throw these bones and see what happens."
boom,
And I
boom, boom.
think I forget which one exactly came first, but it was either GURPS Auto Duel or Palladium's After the Bomb. So
Right.
it was of that era in the mid '80s where the apocalypse, the shadow of the bomb was still over us. We could be dead at any moment. I was doing the all right, kids, we're either going under the desk or we're going up, lining up along the wall in the hallway for
Yes.
the bomb drill, which was just us,
Woo! Bum
getting
drill.
out getting out of the way and dying in peace so the military could go do their thing is
Ah!
all is all it was. But hey, what's up, Cody? Good to see you. But
Odie, Odie, Odie. Boy,
what was it?
you just made me think of like different game systems and different wacky things that happened with each of them. It was
Yeah,
like that one friend who was designing his own games. He and I got addicted to Chill, and I
yeah,
actually have all the original Chills off the Pace Setter, and then and I got to find them again, all the Mayfair ones, and I ended up courting somebody who worked at Mayfair, and she was like, "Here's more stuff." I'm your
right.
girlfriend. I'm connected, and I also became good friends with Bill Fawcett.
Okay.
And that guy's amazing. He
Mhm.
used to run Mayfair games for a while.
Oh
Uh,
wow.
yeah, I even had for a time a license for Myth Told Tales, which is a sequel to Myth Adventures by Jody Nye and Robert Aspen, which is kind of interesting.
Okay.
But yeah,
He's
yeah, Jody Nye is phenomenal. She's great. Bill Fawcett is great. Wonderful people.
yeah.
So that was that, and then Space 1889. My one friend, who would go to Alaska and stuff, he would constantly buy different game systems, and I'd be the guinea pig. I love Space 1889. Oh yeah, yeah. So yeah.
Yeah. I understood.
Uh,
Yeah, perfectly.
you
Yeah.
know, Call of Cthulhu. Uh, at first I hated that game because of like it was too easy to die, and I hated the insanity and stuff. I'm like, no, it's horrible. Where would they do so mean? Where you have these more like upper hero games.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, it definitely isn't a power fantasy. It's one of those where it's like
right.
you're just some average guy. Maybe you're like a 1920s detective or whatever, and you're
Yeah.
checking things out, and then craziness happens, and you're never going to be the same coming out the other end. So,
And
you
you
know,
trip going outside and you die.
yep, and that's it.
But
Y-
what's kind of notable with Space 1889, I actually bought a license to try to turn into an animated film.
Oh wow,
So I was starting to get all the people together, and I even had the investments together. Then Congress and the president at the time changed the rules on tax breaks, and all the
mm,
investors left within one signature of a pen. They all
yeah,
called me up and said, "We're out," and I literally that day lost $12 million
yeah,
in backing. But I
yeah,
would have been cool to have a Space 1889 animated movie.
yeah. That would have been something different at the time. What year was this?
This was in the late '90s,
Okay,
in mid late '90s.
sure.
And they sent me everything, which was much more than I expected, even the metal figures. So I and two writers, we got together, we wrote scripts and ideas, and
Hmm.
world ending, this over the top, Martian being in love with humans, just goofy stuff.
Yeah,
So
fun adventurous stuff. I think that era was around the time of like Iron Giant and Titan
yeah,
80 and all that, where you
right.
had competition, like animated competition to Disney with DreamWorks and all that stuff. So
Hmm.
they were very
Hmm.
much. I think investors were really like, ooh, they could smell blood in the water.
Right,
They're like,
right,
we
right,
might be able
right,
to get in some
right.
market share in the animation market.
What was interesting is that let's say you were a multimillionaire, you could invest into a movie at the time, and let's say you put in you made 2 million for the year, and you actually put in 1 million. Well, the tax people consider it that, oh, you put your money into there. Well, because it's so high risk, you really didn't make $2 million for the year. You made $1 million for the year. So we'll tax you as if you only made 1 million. Oh, and also we can allow you to do a deferment on your taxes because you're funding this. And that
Right.
break was taken away. And that's what killed it.
Yeah. Which is kind of silly because it's like even though it is high risk, you want people investing in things that aren't all just safe. Otherwise, it kind of turns out what it is now. I remember reading an article recently where it was about how nobody has the wild idea of I'm going to open a bowling alley because it's
Yeah,
like that's not a guaranteed return. The guaranteed return is you get a plot of land, you build an ugly gray building there, and it can be a bank, it can be a mattress store, it can be any one of these things that's on every street corner. You could throw a rock and you're going to hit one, and that's all they are now. Instead of like
yeah,
how originally IHOP had the big ridiculous roof, or Pizza
right,
Hut had the big crazy almost like a red hat looking roof to it. Now they're like, nope, everything must be a perfect rectangle. It's almost like was that brutalist architecture. They might as well just be concrete slabs like it's the Soviet Union, and just be like,
are we?
comrade, there's pizza here, and that's it.
I think we're being domesticated for some reason. Is it for the space aliens? Is that what it is?
That's why it's interesting to see kids see pictures of the old McDonald's play areas. And they're
Yeah,
like, "What is this?" And it's like, "Yeah, that's where kids would go, eat and play." And like, you wouldn't just go in and be like, "Eat your food quickly. You must digest and leave." It's like, no, the parents would
right,
sit there, the kids would go into the ball pit, have fun, eat, do stuff. It was like going out to eat was a thing. It wasn't like you're just going out there to consume nutrients like in the cone heads. That's it,
right.
consume mass
We
quantities.
will get new substance. We're coneheads.
So, and I think that was the big blow up with Cracker Barrel because people are like, oh
Yeah,
yeah, you go there and it's kind of kitschy. It's got its stuff on the wall and all that, and
right.
you got your bowling shoes there. Oh no, there you go, roller
Yeah, my
skates, old school.
skates. I
But
sponsor skates. I'm like a prop guy.
but um but yeah, no, yeah, there's a certain level where it's like, yeah, we're just kind of being creatively crushed into these perfect little cubes now
Right,
for us
right.
to just go into. So yeah, oh, that's why like I was showing off when a lot of the viewers here on the Discord, I was showing off the games I was in, and yeah, when I showed the Kirby-esque art of that one board game, everybody was like, whoa, because they're all comic fans. So it's just to have that, and I look back at it, and I'm like, look at all the colors on there as opposed to other board games. The other board games just kind of go for like well, we need to clearly communicate. And it's like, well, this does just in the symbols that are on there. Because you showed like the inner planets had okay, yeah, it has the three symbol for the guys that cost you 5. You could put 3 guys. They just
Yeah,
can't all be on the same world. You have to spread them out, or however. And I was like, okay, no, that works. And then the planet doesn't have, well, it has the name on it, but there's no stats or numbers. It's just no cool, colorful picture of a planet. And even the cards that are for the planet match it. So you just put the stat right on there. So the art doesn't get, well, I liked how it matched perfectly with the artwork. So it didn't take away from it. It wasn't covered up or cluttered. It never felt that way. So yeah,
yeah,
there's a,
yeah.
there's a sharp design mind to that
Mm.
one.
Part of my thinking with Outer Planet Panic, a game where we work together to stab each other in the back, and you notice how it started to get a little aggressive here and there,
Well,
and you
yeah, well,
won.
especially at the end. Well, that was the thing. That's because we weren't playing with the full like spy thing, but I could see that
Yeah.
where it's like you have the one last portion or piece to plug into the super device, and all the spies come out of the woodwork to destroy it. So
Ah! So,
yeah, I get it. It
you know,
got really bloodthirsty at the end.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Like I said, it's interesting. I've noticed the game gets more aggressive when you have mixed sex players as
Mhm.
compared to either same sex, like if they're all they or they're all men or if they're all women. It just gets interesting how the dynamic changes when it's intersexed.
Yeah.
With the dichotomy, and unlike auto clash, when it's intersex, it tends to be more cooperative, and then when it's more guys, we tend to blow each other up, and when it's more women, they get really nasty. It's like,
Yeah.
whoa, I couldn't believe that dynamic. It's just fascinating. But part of my thinking with the color was actually to have a very limited palette. There's only 5 colors in that game. But because I did the dot patterns, I gave illusions of a much wider color gambit and a color palette, which is what they used to do with the old comics. Secondly, I plan to print it fluorescently, so if you have a black light and a dark room, it's really going to look cool. So it was just fun, and I'm humbled and honored to have you playing that. Just thank you so much.
Oh, absolutely. No, you said you were you play tested that for about 5 years?
Yeah.
And it seemed pretty well honed as soon, like, once we sat down to play it. So everything seemed to kind of fall into place. So
it was
and then with that one, you're going to crowdfund this year or next year?
Well, I'd like to do it sooner, but I need to find some backers, as in some financial backing to help me with pre-advertising and campaign advertising. Just to shift to the Kickstarter side of it, I had a very experienced, and today's the last day for the tarot card set that we're doing. I am going to do late pledges, but the next 40 hours or so, the Alley Chicago Tarot is available on Kickstarter. So if you type in Alley Chicago Tarot, and feel free to show it on screen if you know how to, which I'm sure you do because you're like Lord Genius.
I don't know. I just started doing this a couple weeks ago. So there we go. Alley Chicago Tarot.
Yeah.
See if we could do
this.
So
what we did there, which was kind of fun, was Mark Thomas has been doing punk and goth fashion for 50 years. And he's also been involved with cigar shops and ooh la la shops and a whole bunch of other stuff. And at his high point, he had about 12 stores, from what I remember. And he sold them out. But hey, we're tiny. I see the grass. That was so cool. He's learning. I'm proud of him.
Share
Paul
screen
is
here.
like amazing. Oh boy, I could have put like at for my Instagram page. I didn't figure that out because I'm on the dumb list.
Oh, you got Instagram? There we go. Yeah, we'll have to. We will do all the proper pimpery.
Number 4. I am now the 4th one on this show. He looks. Boop, 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 boop. So
anyway, he does because the guy at the alley, right? This is who we're talking about that does all yes.
Yeah. So I was looking at his art because he wanted me to do some archiving, and I'm like, there's a lot of stories behind this art. And I do feel all art is psychic. That's one of my personal opinions. And you get to feel, insight, empathies, fears, happiness, sometimes the emotions of the artist as they put in the piece together. And then something clicked, and I'm like, my gosh, some of these pieces would be viable for tarot. So I analyzed them, and going with Golden Dawn thinking, I put together the booklet, laid out the cards, and voila, you have this incredible tarot card set. You did it because you're smart.
Woo! We figured it out.
Woo! And scroll down if you want. Just do that. 36 hours left. So that's like the cover of it, and I colorized that for him. That was a black and white image.
Yeah, this is the classic because I remember going back there because we used to go to industrial shows back when I was like late junior high, going to see KMFDM and all that. So you go where they were on Clark and Belmont.
Yep.
I think. Yeah.
Yep. It's like a Pavlov reaction. But I learned so much from this. He did not want to do a pre-campaign, and what I call about that is you need to treat a Kickstarter like a movie premiere, where you start to get teases and develop a mailing list and get people excited that this is going to happen, and then you treat it like a movie premiere, so that when you launch, Woo, everybody comes rushing down like that, you know,
Yep.
and you can get into very high figures. Now I'm not ashamed in at how this went because we did very well. And there's
Yep.
Mark, and there's a guy from
Martin
uh,
Atkins, he does the Museum of Post-Punk and Industrial
yeah,
Music
yeah, yeah,
downtown. Yeah,
yeah.
right. I think it's at the old Wax Tracks label where it used to be for downtown Chicago.
So you see me. Oh, and what's really cool? Here, click on this. Spin it lower.
Mhm. Oh, this one?
Yeah. Don't you love the clinkiness? Ta-da! Doesn't it weird how it changes to look like 69 or the symbol for astrological sign?
Oh yeah, yeah. I forget which one that is. Is that it's
Right.
not Pisces? I forget which one. Cancer, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They say
Oh
everyone
wow,
born
it just
right.
keeps going.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Keep going. You'll be here for days.
All right.
You scroll down more, you can see, and that talks a little bit about his history of how he started, and safe place for geeks, weirdos. And this is showing
All I
both.
remember is they used to sell those the CPD jackets, the leather ones. They
Yes.
were really nice. They just had loads of them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, after a while, you had to cut the damage the Chicago symbol on it so that people didn't think you were an actual
You were
Chicago
a
police
cop.
officer.
Yeah,
Right.
they had to damage each of them, kind of like how they drill the playing cards at a casino.
Yeah.
It's the
Yeah.
same thing. Yeah.
So you can't slip them in. Yeah. I know this is totally divergent of what we were going to talk about.
Nah, I mean it goes into the design because that's the thing.
Right.
It's like you are doing an RPG, but you do a lot of visual design, and that's the thing
Yeah.
that really kind of gets people in. Because it's like I brought it up to you with I forgot when it was or why, but we were talking about how do I unshare screen now is the question, was AI art and utilizing that. And one of the things that I think Matt Forbeck was telling my friend was like, you got to spend like, as soon as you do a Kickstarter, rather, you have to spend like at least a quarter to a third of whatever you put together on art and put most of
Right.
it towards the cover. Because that
Yes.
whole you can't judge a book by its cover thing, people do
No,
it.
that's a lie.
That is indeed a lie.
Yeah, I mean, this is not my game, but you just take a look at this game. Just the surreal, ethereal feel of it.
Mhm.
All flesh must be
All
eaten.
flesh must be eaten. Yep.
Right, and it's a very semi watercolor gouache style that just is visceral, but not
Yep.
clear. And part of what I think was very smart about this style for this is you ever have just something terrifying happen to you and one piece is sharp but everything else is faded.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like waking up from a bad dream and it's just about gone.
Yeah, and it's always at the edges, like, we started the show talking about clean
Right.
line art, and that's
Yeah.
different. You have that style where it's fuzzy, it almost gives the illusion of motion, So,
Right.
like, these zombies are moving on the cover, so it gives you that. These are coming for you instead of they're not still pictures. So, yeah, that's a
Correct.
awesome for that kind of setting where it's like, "Get away from this,"
Oh
these are
yeah.
coming after you.
And
So
another subliminal is your survival is not clear. It is not perfect.
mhm,
You're in danger. And that's the thing which is just interesting when you deal with art is to sometimes try to study a lot of psychology, dream psychology, and even esoteric thinking and psychology, and you could really imbue the cover so that people just to have it. There have been a few times I bought books just because of the cover and the contents. It's like, oh no, okay, they got a pro for the cover, and they have my sympathy for the rest.
right.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. I remember having an argument because I supported one game. It was called Syntheside, and it was like a kind of dark future, almost cyberpunkish, but you would play different characters. And it wasn't class based. It was more almost like race based because you could be like a perfect
What
like
race based in
genetic.
what?
You could be like a perfectly like genetically tailored human, or you could be a
Yeah.
mutant, or you could be like a partial cyborg, all kinds of crazy stuff. And it was like, all right, that seems that's interesting. Some of the stuff in here, but the cover was the big hullabaloo for it because he's like, I'm not sure if I want to do this one or this one. And one was a very generic action shot, a bunch of guys on a mission doing stuff. And the original one, when I played it at Gen Con, we play tested it with the guy, was this crazy robotic skull like of a head, and it was screaming and it had these missing teeth. And I was like, look at that. That
Oh,
looks
yes.
it was haunting, like seeing like a painting by Beksinski. You're like,
Oh, man. Yes.
that
Yeah.
pulls you in, but I got voted down because the other backers were like, "No, people won't know it's a role playing game." And it's like it's in a game store in the role playing section.
Right.
They'll know it's a role playing game, But
Ugh.
yeah,
Yeah. Sometimes the mundanes don't understand, or I hate to say it, the average. I'm going to sneak by and show something quick.
Mhm.
And you got to play this game, right? I don't know if you did or not.
We got to play it a little bit because I'm the designer for 13 Parsecs from Elflair Games swung by. Remember that?
Right.
We were
Yeah.
playing your friend's space exploration game, and
Right.
I've got an RPG too, and we ran through a quick combat with that, which was interesting because it
Nice.
was very much single dice roll, the D20 plus the D4, and that's
Yep.
and we wanted to roll low or high, I forgot.
Well, to hit, you
Yes,
want to roll low.
gotcha.
1 is your best friend, 20 is your enemy.
Right.
But the point with this art, I mean, just to go with it, it's
Mhm.
clean with the background is going. That's because he's traveling between dimensions.
Right.
Yeah. So there you go. So my quick dumb plug. But yeah, we thought we would just make the combat system just fast. And somebody is like, why fast? I said, well, because you got a fun system like Champions, which could take 20 to 30 minutes for one round.
Mhm.
Where for us, a round could last maybe 10 to 12 seconds, if that.
Right.
It's like roll for damage, boom. Oh, you hit, you miss, you miss, you miss. Okay, now roll for damage. Boom. Oh my gosh, a leg towering off. Oh boy, spleen solid. Oh, you did this. Okay, next round. What? Yes, next round. Roll again. I'm gonna take my beam and blast it. So, thank you.
I'm liking the sound effects. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
We're getting people into it. I'm actually just finding this artwork because I was like, maybe I could find this because then I can explain to you. Since you're an artist, you can be like,
Yeah.
well, this is the problem with these. This is why they just
Yes.
simply don't work. So let's see. A new scene. Well.
The cyborgs will smile at evening.
Can I do this? Let's see here. I can add
It's
medium.
tiny again.
Let's
I'm so teeny.
add an image. So the one they went with, this is with that was the one that they went with.
Colorblind. We're
So
like,
it's like,
hey, everybody, look at us. We're like action heroes. This is like Guardians of the Galaxy. And then the other two are like, let's tie you up and have happy time at Lulu's.
and let's see if I can get the other one here.
I mean, it is fun. But
Yeah,
with this, where does the logo go for the game?
right. Well, he has one with the logo on it and all that. I was just when I was trying to get it really quick,
Yeah.
it was one of those WebM files, so it was like, let me see if I can get this here. Save this image. This one is a JPEG. And replace. Let's see. We're learning.
This is clean. I'm proud of you.
So that's how it looked like on the shelf.
Okay.
They put Syntheside on it, and it's like, okay, that is
so
what it is.
Part of the problem with that
Yeah.
is by not having the title at the very top, you got to be very careful how you place the book and how it's shelved. And if it's in the back of several other books, let's say the book goes the other book's height, because you often have the shelving at quarter. You only have the top quarter of the mast showing. You can't see the logo.
Right. Yeah. It's just buried.
Whoopsie.
So, and then let's see. I do.
Right.
And this is the one that he had, the other one, or the original one that I was like, that is cool. That's crazy
Right.
looking. Again, you're spot on about the title, but the
Yeah.
artwork, it was just like, what the hell is this? I want to know. I need to
Yeah.
investigate this. I want to open the
With
book and,
with that one, I would actually uh, do the synthesize at at the very top.
mhm,
Cut that down. You got the centerpiece, but I'd cut it so maybe half of the left eye is cut off,
right,
and then synthesize is over the top, and you have just some wide space, or it's so wide that part of it it's just very close up, like you just woke up after a bad battle, and you look up and you see that.
right. Yeah,
Yeah. It's like if you sent me the photo, I could sense just replace it live real quick in about
right.
10-15 seconds for relayout, just to get a but I
Yeah,
could see why this would work, but at the same time, the other works for the more common expectations
right.
and
I
and,
think
and
that
formula.
was yeah,
Right.
I think that was the thing. It wasn't I'm big when games lean in their strengths. If you're not
Yeah.
leaning towards your strength, you're just kind of you will be buried. We are all existing in the orbit of Dungeons and Dragons. It is the enormous black hole gravity well at the center of the RPG universe. And we're all
Yes.
just these tiny specks. And if you don't stand out, you're just going to vanish right into the hole. So,
Right. A side question:
sure,
what do you think it is about Dungeons and Dragons, outside of being the first,
right,
that why it's so not invasive, but so prevalent? That's the word, prevalent. Where everybody loves the medieval fighting, the visceral fighting,
right.
the lack of tech. Where now you got, okay, a little bit of tech. It's now, before when D&D happened, I imagine it being the 1200s, 1300s. Now
Sure.
it feels like it's the 1600s, 1700s, with a little spattering of 1800s starting to bleed in.
That's good. You know what? I'm going to go AFK really quick. Why don't you
Okay.
vamp on that a little bit and I'll be right back.
Oh, how do I do that? I want to do that too. I can't. Am I paused? What do I have here? I'm wondering how my power is. How do you tell power on this?
Oop, there we go. Okay. Anyway,
You're like five. Did you use the restroom? Are you 5 pounds lighter now? Is that what's going on?
I had to run really quick and take care of something. But
It's like, smelly dog, get out of here.
yeah, I had to get this animal out of here. No,
Yeah.
the
Animal.
I think probably it being first was the big thing, and it seems like with each progressive edition up until fourth, they got a bigger audience. It kept growing by like factors. Like it wasn't like a clean. Oh, it's just going up because first edition has its hardcore fans.
Yeah.
Second edition, you start getting artwork that's like, ooh, this is pulling people in. You've got Larry Elmore, Clyde Caldwell, all these guys that
Is
are
that advanced D&D second edition?
new. That's the problem. There's OD&D as it's called. That was the original where it was like dwarf and elf were classes. The cleric didn't have spells at first level. That was like every weapon just did d6 damage. That was like caveman D&D originally.
Okay.
The fighter was the fighting man. That was it. AD&D Advanced Dungeons and Dragons was like the first edition. And that one, most of the artists, I think, were like kids in high school that Gary Gygax, bought for a Snickers bar. It was like,
Yeah.
I'll give you this, or here's the new Pink Floyd album. If you
Oh,
paint,
no, cool.
yeah,
Are you
you just
ready?
you just need to draw a sphinx for me or whatever. And they go, oh,
Yeah.
okay.
No
But
wonder that. No wonder the art looked relatable in high school.
right, yeah, you're like, I could draw that. You know what? Actually, I think I've seen somebody drawing that in social studies.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah.
It's a
Oh yeah,
liger.
that's my brother that I mentioned earlier, actually, in chat,
Yeah.
saying that, yeah, no, you're still alive. Great Kickstarter, by the way. But yeah, because he's old school, old goth industrial type guy. But
Cool.
um, and the second edition had all the artwork. Third edition, they streamlined the game to get kind of that broader audience.
Right.
And then you hit fourth edition, and that's where things get rough. But I still like fourth edition, but that is where the game got, I think, maybe too complex for some people.
I
It
never
shook
bought
some
fourth
people off.
edition.
It's more of a miniature skirmish, almost combat type game. It's like it's like team based chess. It plays more like that, less of a role playing game. So, is what it is.
But I did enjoy fifth.
Okay.
Okay,
I've only played a
oh my
little
God!
bit of it.
Here you are. Let's talk about anything but D&D, and all we're doing is talking about D&D. What's wrong with us?
You brought it up. I was like,
hey, you're supposed to direct the show, producer.
I will throw my guest under the bus, but but I think with fifth edition again, it rebounded into the back into the big time, as they call it, because of Critical Role and all that stuff, and I guess which came later, but it's always been around. That's the thing. It is the biggest market share, but I always tell people, like, don't let that confuse you, because even though I play RPGs, they are the smallest of the small slice of the tabletop pie. Board games and miniature games blow them out of the water with the amount of money to make. So
I mean, look at that. GURPS.
Yeah.
Mayfair.
GURPS has been around forever.
All of these are games. Different game systems, and some echo. Some are better stories. Some are like, ugh, what were they thinking? Some were money grabs. Some were like, they didn't have enough. And I just, again, what I really enjoyed about the show was the diversity of game systems that was being played.
Right.
Yeah. What were some of your systems, and what do you like about the systems as compared to normal D&D? And with the short moment you tried Kremin the RPG, what did you find different, good, not good? I'd like to hear your overall critique.
Well, let's see. I started off the show doing Savage Rifts, which is pretty good. It's Savage Worlds, but in the Rift setting.
Okay.
I'm getting myself off of your PC there.
There we go.
There you go. Yeah, you got to aim it towards yourself.
I'm sorry for leaning in. I was getting all excited. Continue, sir.
Just making sure. I think you have it aimed towards the laptop.
Oh, I put it upside down.
There you go.
There, is that better?
Yes.
I'll hang it on my beard. No, how about no?
We're going real caveman with this now. But
put up my nose.
We went with Rifts, which I liked better than regular Rifts, because Palladium was like, it's a very clunky old system. Yeah. Very.
And I got a bunch of Rift books too.
Yeah. We had large collection of that stuff, and it's all pretty much the same. Like Symbieta would just copy paste the rules and slap it in another book, and it's like, that's the Palladium system. And this was the first time somebody went in and was like, we're going to try something different with the rules, and it didn't rub him the wrong way, so they actually let him do it. And it's the most playable version of Rifts that you have. It's very, very simple and straightforward. The first time I played it, I did a leyline walker, which back in the day was like, this is going to be a nightmare. You've got all these PPE points you can spend on stuff, and it's almost like mana where you're doing it. Right. But since it's Savage Worlds, you just
let's see.
They give you
Show Charles all
stack. They give you a stack of bennies, as they call them, which are just poker chips, because originally Savage Worlds was based on Deadlands, which was all poker cards and chips. Great system, by the way. Back in the Deadlands originally, the magic system, all anything that worked off of like a random. If you were the mad scientist, the magician, or the Indian shaman or whatever, you drew a poker hand, the higher value hand you played. So if you played like a, whatever royal flush, that was the maximum you could do. So if you had like pairs, whatever so the abilities you had would let you discard and draw to get kind of a better hand, and whatever hand you got would affect the outcome of whatever magic or supernatural thing you did. And it was really kind of cool Savage Worlds drew that back to be a much more simple system.
Okay.
Again, I like when things lean into their strengths, which Deadlands was like, oh yeah, it's going to have poker and the chips are going to be your experience, and you could use the chips to re-roll and all that stuff.
That's cool.
Yeah, Deadlands in its day was like, holy crap, especially when it came out, because it came out, I think, in like the mid to late 90s.
Okay.
And that was where you had almost kind of like a second kind of turn of the wheel, because it
Yeah.
was just before third edition D&D, but it was at that time when like White Wolf and all these other groups were coming up with systems where it was like, even though the system was simple, it was something that was completely different from the
Right.
time.
Right.
For dice pools and whatnot. And they had that back in the day with like Twilight 2000 and all these other systems that were like, okay, this is very different from D&D, and the resolution mechanics are very different.
Yes.
So yeah, for Deadlands to have that, where it was like when you built your character, you drew cards and you placed them in different stats, and it would be, depending on the suit, was how many dice, the strength of the card, if it was a face card or whatever, was how large the die was. So it was like, okay, this is interesting. And if you drew a Joker, that was when you would get like your crazy merit or flaw, like some kind of weird thing. You might be, have a spirit that's haunting you. If like you're a medicine man or something like that, and you drew a black Joker when you're creating a character, you'd have some cool dice, but you're like, I've got this thing constantly on my back. But anyway,
Oh
because
no, the Bleacher dice.
as I was saying, yeah. So Leyline Walker is like, okay, you have this many points now. It's in the chips, and you just pay those when you play your spells, and then you could go, okay, I pay 1 to play my spell. I want to enlarge. I want to enlarge it. I need to increase its
Incredible.
range, and you just pay it off like that. And
Oh,
having that tactile nature in front of you beats the scratching out and rewriting. I have 39 arrows left, or any of that. That's why I heard somebody, they house ruled it to make it interesting for players,
yeah.
kind of like me, who have, I don't know, apparently I have some kind of brain damage where it's just like I dislike the bean counting of things, but to keep track of the ammo, they would
That
give the
means you have a
guy
life.
right. Well, it's like, if I had that kind of math skills, it's like I tell people, I'm like, why aren't you curing cancer or sending people to the stars, or building rockets or something, if you have these elite math skills, instead of
You're
wasting it
right.
on creating another elf. But they would, for your arrows, they would give you toothpicks. And it's like, okay, you've
Yeah.
got 12 toothpicks. That's how many arrows you have. And you just set it aside. And it's like, yeah, sometimes a lot of people complain about kind of the board gamification of things, but having that tactileness of it engages people's brains differently, I think.
Yeah.
So
Now, what do you think about having cards and things like that? Like, I've had some people suggest to have condition cards for
mhm,
actual playing cards for what happens. So you see hand off, and then the guy looks and you just see the hand uh, over here,
right.
and he's just staring at his hand over there, even though there's a stump and there's like a spray going like off of the
Yeah,
card.
big arterial spray firing
Right,
into the air.
right.
That
Which would
would
be
be cool. It's instead of rolling on a chart, because that's the thing. Like, charts are kind of classic,
yeah,
but it's an extra cost, and some people don't like having a lot of the fiddly bits. I was watching a
right.
show earlier, and they were crying about Warhammer Fantasy. I forget if it's third or fourth edition. Fantasy Flight did a version of it that was like that one. I could see where they went a little bit too board gamey with it, because there was cards and chits and dice and
Right.
tracks and all this stuff. And it's like, guys, it's way too bloated for an RPG, which used to be paper, pencil, dice. That was
Yeah,
the
that's it.
trinity. That's it. That's all you needed.
Yeah, I've had not at this convention, but I've had some people ask me, "Why don't you have miniatures?" You don't need miniatures.
No, yeah, that's it. Like, your game seems very theater of the mind, which is rare, because that's
Right.
the problem you come across with games when they get way too granular with combat. Then you're like, well, now we need a grid map, and it's like, well, now I need a way to represent how my guys are flying. So it's like, okay, now I need acrylic standee bases where some guys can be
Yeah.
4 meters up, and it's like, guys, we're not playing. If we wanted to play Warhammer or like a miniatures game, you'd play that. You
Right.
have to find that magical in between.
So yes, you know what they say. The best form of birth control is Warhammer.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, they see it on the shelf. Well,
Oh
until
my
they
god.
find out how much it costs, and they go, "Oh, he has to have money." Until they realize he put all
Yeah.
his savings into plastic men. So,
Ah!
yeah,
Hey, at
don't
least they're
marry
not
him, ladies.
inflatable.
There you go. Yeah, Durrell. There you go. Fantasy Flight was 3rd edition, and they had to get into their groove. Fantasy Flight, I'll give them this. I'm playing their Rogue
Yeah.
Trader game on Saturdays, and they did really good with the 40K stuff. All their other RPGs, I think they tried to either sell dice or sell cardboard components, and it's like, oh,
Right.
you guys,
Oh my gosh.
you guys went a little too far with it. Sergeant Dan, glad to have you. SDS channel 87.
Oh, groovy,
Kind of
Dan. Thank you for
reminds
joining.
reminds
Wait,
me
are
of.
you live?
Oh yeah, we're live on YouTube, and they're watching us. Let's see. We've got 5 on YouTube and nobody on Twitch because they're too busy watching.
Because they're twitching too much.
Right? Yeah, because we're not dancing in a hot tub with many ladies or whatever.
There, how we go. There we go.
There we go.
Do the hair dance.
Give him bits; he'll dance
this
more.
This is the bozo.
Do you do that? Do you ever go into these shows and you're just like, we're going to go straight out today? You're going to do what is that, Dr. Robotnik from Sonic?
It
just goes right out.
Wow. Well, look at this. I got another role-playing game.
Oh, is that that's the one where you're playing cultists, right?
No, this is where you're playing the monster.
Okay.
I think, like, I'm a bunch of worm things,
Yeah, because I remember seeing that at the which booth was it? I think it was
the witch booth. Were there witches there?
Imagining Games had it over at their booth. They were like they sell stuff kind of like almost consignment or clearing, or I forget how it works exactly. Ooh, what else you got there? You got all kinds of fancy stuff.
Crypt World.
Was that? Oh, is that like if you want to play Kolchak the Night Stalker?
Well, what's interesting is Crypt World was bought out by some guy in Canada who speaks French and his kind, lovely wife, Martin something, and I almost got a license with them. We talked back and forth, and it just fizzled out. No big deal. But then I discovered Pacesetter kind of tried to regrow, and he did Crypt World, which is basically chill but slightly different. It's like, hey, you werewolf. Oh no, what? I don't want to hurt her. Oh, that's a girl. Girls are cooties. Oh no, actually she used to flash. She flashed him. There's so many jokes you can make with that.
I was gonna say this. Yeah. Is it a family game or not? It's up to the players to decide.
No, but I like how this just feels like chill, but it's Crypt World. So
there you go.
Sorry.
No worries.
Yeah. What was kind of funny with Kremin was, I was thinking of making a horror game, and I'm also bouncing around with a horror board game as well, called Boom Smack, where you just got 3 stats, and if they're really high, I hope I remember it. Strength, or brawn. Did I call it brawn? Looks. Oh God, I forgot. I'd have to look it up. But there are 3 stats, and they could be very high. You got a 5-point spread. 0 is like average, and everybody starts out with them above average. Looks, brawn, and and something for health. And then as you get beat up, you get to the normal part, and then you become, dumb, ugly, and weak. As you're going down, and if you go to 6 points on anything negative, your character dies.
Right.
But it's called Boom Smack. And
I was laughing here because Sergeant Dan asked horror or horror.
Wow! Oh boy, what type of sergeant is he? How about horror Abel? Is it horrible or horrible?
So I believe it's horror, Sergeant Dan. I'm guessing.
Yeah. It's horrible, Mr. Sergeant.
This is going to be the first prostitute-based RPG.
Yeah. So, we actually been joking about one called No Movie Time. And basically you're playing everyone's playing porn stars trying to figure out how to get their movie going.
Oh Lord.
But I got too shy of the mechanics.
Yeah, that's one of those. Yeah, I think maybe.
Yeah, it's a very limited market. I mean, that might be good for the Exotica show.
Right? Yeah. Exotica, yeah. Is that over
Like,
here? Is that they do that at the Rosemont Convention Center?
yeah,
Is
they
that where it's
do.
at? Okay, yeah.
Like as a joke, somebody told me to go to the Exotica show, and then a dice manufacturer guy is like, hey, you want to? Can I help you get rid of some gross dice? I'm like, what do you mean? It's like lick, sniff, blah blah. So it's an
Yeah.
action of like ear, buttock, side, So he said,
Yeah.
just give them away. And I had like hundreds of them, just packed and packed. And one day I was just giving them out, and within 5 to 7 minutes, gone.
Oh
People were
wow.
just, I want perv dice. Oh, I want, they were just a feeding frenzy. And I even had security come around. What's going on? I said, here you go. And he looked, and he's like, oh God. I just pocketed them and went, I saw some dancing girls and one actually slipped my number. I'm like, no, go away. It's too weird.
Right. Yeah, no,
But
we used to sell those back at the Wizards of the Coast retail outlet we had. It was I forgot what the hell they call them. They were like romance dice or whatever they were called, and it was like,
yeah.
don't sell these to kids. You only sell these to couples, and we had the whole sheet where it's like, okay, we gotta.
Oh,
And I think we
yeah.
ended up getting rid of them at some point because I forgot who it was. It was like the regional manager, J.C. Penney, like became in charge of us or whatever. So we switched to like just puzzles and other stuff. And I was like, well, we're dead. We're no longer selling like RPGs and miniature games. I'm getting the hell out of here.
No
But
more cootie dice.
yeah. And he's like, yeah, none of that stuff. Only family
Oh my
oriented,
gosh,
whatever.
that is so much fun. So with what you've done,
Right.
okay. Actually, I shouldn't be interviewing you. I apologize. I'm very
Oh,
good.
that's all right. If you got questions, it's
Yeah.
just a discussion. It keeps going. This isn't professional at all. I mean, shit. I'm
Oh,
still
it's
hovering
secretly
just below
professional.
50. I'm just below 50 subscribers still. So,
That's more than I have.
well,
I
hopefully,
see that. See that? That's not the third eye. That's all my
right.
subscribers.
Yeah. Not that it really means
What is
anything.
this? A brain sucker finally starving to death? Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Could you imagine John Carpenter's, no, not John Carpenter's thing, Aliens, Geiger's
Hmm.
Aliens. He basically based the face hugger off of a brain sucker that's starving to death. That's all it is just a brain sucker. Like
Oh,
what he
really?
saw as a little kid. It's like,
Mhm.
yeah, what if I made it real scary? It is a brain sucker. And he's basically Thing with a
Yeah.
tail.
Yeah.
Never mind.
No, that's all right. You had a
Mhm.
question for me though before we veered into Crazy Town. We're getting back on track here.
Yeah.
What do we got?
I was going to ask, what was one of the funner or weirder conventions you ever went to?
Funner or weirder conventions? I'm trying to think. I think a lot of the times, just from the crazy energy and the mass of people, Gen Con is always pretty wild.
Okay.
There's a lot of stuff you could find to do there. That's off the beaten path. So what was that? Oh,
No,
man.
keep talking. I'm just being
Okay.
silly.
Okay. Um,
That's
other
my
than that,
weapon room.
I'm trying to think of the craziest thing I think I saw happen was they have a convention around here called Capricorn. I forget when the hell it is, but it's
Oh
somewhere
yeah.
in this area. And when we went, I saw a guy getting let off in handcuffs, and he was like in a clown outfit, and I was like, oh. He must have been in the LARP, and he didn't realize what no means no means, and
Oh,
now he's
oh,
yeah. So he got let out in handcuffs. So that was the only
God,
convention I saw a clown get arrested. So there's that,
God bless
you
him.
know.
My
Yeah,
God. Oh,
good for him.
that's so bad.
Hopefully they threw him in with Gen Pop and he learned a lesson or two that night. But
Yes.
outside of that, Gen Con's usually pretty wild. The other ones, I only started doing the small like Wisconsin conventions recently. Like
Okay.
I started with I think Gary Con 9, and then all of them up there. Those drunken yahoos, the Wisconsinites. Holy God, they drink like fish. It was crazy up
Wow.
there. And
Wow.
like when we were hanging out, because they just had happy hour where it's just they have bars everywhere. Like
Everywhere.
outside of every conference room, there's a bartender, and I was just like, this is
Well, yeah,
wild.
a bloody Scottish con where you can bloody drink until you bloody puke. Aye, Hootman.
So in the middle of switching through games, they were like, "Hey, you should go check out Gamehole Con." I was like, "Okay, we'll check that out too." And it's just, it's all of these RPG conventions, and it makes
Yeah.
sense since Lake Geneva is kind of like the home of where it all exists. And a lot of these guys didn't move away, so that's why it's interesting to go to EGG Con. It's just like, oh yeah, they still live down the street. They'll show up, and sign
Yeah.
your books and talk about designing these things 50 years ago. So,
You know what I found fascinating about EGG or EggCon as we call it,
mhm.
was here I'm playing with superstars and I just didn't realize it. So I'm
Right.
just like, oh, okay, it's an old guy, and then after a while, it's like, oh, wait a second, this oh my god, I'm glad I
Right.
didn't know this going in. I'd be like Mr. Fanboy everywhere. Just like, let me kiss your shoes, let me carry you lunch, oh, let me buy you dinner.
Yeah. That's why, yeah, I hit the ground just kind of running going into the first Gary Con. I was like, yeah, I'll volunteer, I'll help him out and all that. And the one guy I was helping with, I was like, he's like a mix of like Rob Zombie and Willie Nelson. It's really kind of
Yeah,
weird. He's got like this like
yeah.
gray old cowboy kind of thing going on, and he was doing all the maintenance stuff. I was like, yeah, that dude's pretty cool. And I didn't find out until later, until after the show, that he was like the first metalsmith's apprentice to work at Ralpartha. And I was like, had I known that, I would have been like, oh man, you remember BattleTech? It was so cool.
Yes,
You know, I would have been Chris
yes.
Farley the whole time. I would have been like, oh man, you guys remember when you did clan battle mechs with the
Mhm.
switching the arms and stuff? That was so cool. That's it. I wouldn't
Right,
have been able to
right,
get
right.
my work done. And the guy who was handing out all the floor plans, I was putting all the numbers on the tables and doing all that stuff. That was Dave Conant. He was the first, I think. What is that when they pay you, but you're not there, you're not a temp, but like
Right.
you're like in school and you go work for somebody.
Yeah, intern.
He was the first intern at TSR, and I didn't know that. I
Wow,
was like,
wow.
oh, okay. So, and then yeah, let's see. I like smaller
Like
regional
imagine if
cons.
you woke up tomorrow,
Yeah.
you're in high school, but you have all this knowledge to date. It's like,
Mhm.
I'd sneak up to Wisconsin and do this and maybe do that. It's like, hey, look at this, that game I wrote. What do you guys think?
Right? Yeah, you go to the guy who's like, yeah, hard up for money, and you're like, you have to do this. It's important. And you help
You're
them out.
right.
Let's
You
see,
know, it,
Sergeant Dan. I like the smaller regional cons. I go to one in Asheville and Charlotte. Oh, so you are in the Carolinas.
oh yeah,
There you go.
Necronomicon was an interesting con too. I got a like creep out story from Necronomicon.
Where's that? Is that in Rhode Island over
That's
there?
in
Is that New
Florida.
England? Florida.
Yeah, that was
Okay.
in Florida, right? So I bring this guy with me, and he asked me to bring him. I'm not going to say his name, but
Sure.
he was like a nightmare to find, and he was like a super cat hoarder. I mean, like we're talking maybe 30 cats on his property.
Oh,
You know, right. And I'm like,
did
okay.
he at least live on a farm or have a barn or
It
something?
was it
Or
was it was slightly farmish,
okay,
where he was
okay,
living. It was in Alabama, right?
okay, okay.
So we go and we have the con and there's minor drama here from him. He's here. Oh, I have to do this. Oh my god. Da, 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 da. You know. Finally, it's like I get into the directorial teacher mode where it's like, no, you're doing this. This is how it happens. So finally, we get there. We eat food. He's like, oh, my ulcers are hurting now. Oh. It's okay, okay. So it was just a nightmare the whole time. We get home to his house. We're going to drop him off, and he's all freaking out. And unfortunately, one of his cat was run over.
Oof.
And then he says like things are just not right. Things are just not right. And he kind of looks like something is talking to him. Then all of a sudden, the frogs and the crickets get louder and louder.
Okay.
Then 7 cats run up, form a straight line, and all of their heads are just in sync, like the little robots moving at the same time. And my business partner at the time was like, should we go over there to help? And there's almost like this line he's not crossing. He's like asking us, come on, come on, come on, please, please, yeah, yeah, please come, please. It was like something was talking to him. I
Uh-huh.
lost my fear check. I
Right.
got freaked out. I'm like, no, you business partner, get in the car now. And then
Right.
there's like, please, please, I'm trying to get them in. I mean, that's what the guy said. And then the cats are just literally just, reacting and louder the croaking. And then finally I get in the car and we're driving and driving and driving. And I see phew, stop sign go by. Phew, this other sign goes by. And the business partner's like, could you slow down? What do you mean? please slow down. And I look, I'm going 107 miles an hour through a dark city.
Yeah.
It's through a country town. I was freaked.
Oh
Okay.
yeah.
So I'm driving through the night. Adrenaline is up. Okay, let's find a hotel. One car is at this hotel. I drive to the hotel. We walk in, and we say, "Hey, we'd like to check in." And the guy just looks up, and he has that same look like Tom, like something else is talking to him. He goes, "Sorry, sir. What? The whole hotel is booked. There's no rooms. No room, sir." And I just looked at my friend. It's like, we're driving out of the state.
Yeah.
So
You're
I
getting the
get in
hell
the
out of
car.
crazy town.
Right.
Yeah.
I am driving. Careful, a little more careful now not to speed too much, because I don't want to be put into like Cthulhu jail or something, or have
Right.
shove nubbabub or something, whatever. It's
Oh, out
like,
in the
oh,
wood.
what
Yeah,
is
the
that
black.
down there?
Hey, what's that black goat in the woods doing? Uh-oh.
Yeah. Get away from me, you goatee. So finally, we make it to the border, and also I hear a snick, and a weird symbol cracks in my windshield. I'm serious.
Right.
As I literally pass the border, it's like, and I just looked at a friend. It's like, maybe someone shot a BB. I said, no, the car stopped the curse from hitting us. And then half a mile out, we find a hotel. It's 8:00. I say, can we check in? And the guy's like, well, checkout's at 11. I said, that's fine. 3 hours sleep is enough. And the guy woke us up 3 hours, and we drove home, and I was terrified of Alabama for the longest time, until SonoCon invited me, and then all was forgiven. But
Oh,
I
there you
still
go.
think some of the elder gods live in Alabama.
I'll have to ask one of the guys I play with, another channel there, Jason. He lives in Alabama, and he's actually tonight, I think, is his Old Gods of Appalachia game. So I'm gonna ask him, like, yeah, I'm gonna be like, hey, Scooby Thulu. Yeah, it kind of seemed that way. Scooby Thulu.
Scooby
So
Thulu.
so Kremin is superheroes, but you go through different dimensions.
Yes.
Okay. How did we get there?
The long story, depending on the amount of time, or the short story, depending on the amount of time that you have.
We'll do short for now.
Okay. I created a comic book, same name, and the concept was to kind of showcase different comic book IPs by having a main character travel to these different worlds, interact with them, does something good, he leaves, and then following issues it continues on without him, and he becomes this legend in the background that somebody may have heard of him, or it's rumored to be, whatnot. He becomes a myth. In fact, it was funny. Several artists started putting him in backgrounds of weird things. Kremin even appears in the background crowd scene of a Magic card, Magic the Gathering, in the early days when they're getting all these different artists. So, the comic book got mothballed for years. A lot of drama behind that. My brother passed, and this happened, that happened. And so I actually got out of comics, and thought I'll just become a mundane and work snore jobs, for a while. And then fortunately, Mystery Manor happened, and Mystery Manor was a haunted attraction. Got me back into comics, and they begged me to do a comic book about the haunted house, and I sold 20,000 units.
Wow.
It was, yeah. And I was like, okay. And then I started doing more comics, educational. So that's like the backwards EC model.
Okay.
It was like I started with horror and then ended up doing educational. But then, I was approached by people, about, hey, Kremin should become an RPG. We think it'd be good. And there's a whole long convoluted story with that one, which is very strange and very mysterious, which I'll talk to you privately. But that could be another subject for another day.
Sure.
But some mysterious dude was involved with this one.
Okay.
But I thought, what if we put the different worlds, different IPs that I've created, basically make a game where people can just play it as straight superhero, on a local level. So the friendly neighborhood hero.
Sure.
Then as things get more serious, it becomes a larger scale. Helping the nation. Then it becomes a little larger, and okay, it's helping the world. Then it becomes a little larger, helping the galaxy. Then they may discover the Great Continuum War, where actual realm phases or quote alternate universes are collapsing, and so they have to work to prevent reality collapse.
Yeah.
So it's a type of
and
buildup,
that's like the real end game. So,
right?
does Kremin have levels?
Um, the levels are basically how skilled you are
Okay.
with things. So, for example,
Sure.
you might have level 1 flight. Oh, you got a naughty boogie too. Hold on.
Yeah. Sure.
This one's little Jack. The black cats are running around outside.
There you go.
Little Jack.
It's like unhand me. I'm no prop. Yeah.
Yeah.
This one was it was funny. I was like, yeah, because I had my mom coming in and feeding her, and she was like, yeah, first 2 days she was like, whatever, I'm getting fed, and then she was like, as it went on though, the cat was definitely like, why are you coming here? Where's the guy at? So then yeah, when I
Did you
got back
eat
home on
him?
back I came back on Sunday, she was just like, all right, I'm gonna stay glued to him, make sure he doesn't vanish again for another 4 days. But
Yeah. Our cats start running back and forth out of the house like they're celebrating. Like he's back, he's back. And then I feed them. Then like yes, and then I lay down in bed, and all of a sudden, boom, they're all over me. Like you have come back, and I always make sure to bring some type of food so they think that I'm not a dumb hunter.
yeah. Oh, there
You
you
know,
go. Yeah, I never even thought of that. Yeah, they're going to be
right,
judging your hunting skills if you don't
right,
bring them something.
right.
Yeah,
But
makes sense. Makes
let's say
sense.
you're gone that long, you brought a snack or treat from right away. It's like, oh, you did a good job hunting. Well, I'm proud of you. You're not a dumb giant bald cat. You're not a stupid cat.
Now,
Okay, but back to the Kremen.
one of the first things you mentioned about Kremen when you were talking to me about it at the con was no hit
Yes.
points. Why, and how was that? Like, why was that so important to you to have no hit points in the game?
Well, when you play one of the world's greatest games in the world,
Right.
you could literally be hacking and slashing a sword, be knocked down to 1 hit point, luckily defeat the bad guy, go to sleep, and you shrug it off, and everything is fine. It's like, okay, it's fine. It's like a video game resetting, getting your power supply back up. And then the thought was, what if there were consequences to fighting? Serious consequences. Like
Yeah.
if you did that type of fighting in real life, well, you can't really have health points. So we thought, what about conditions? You're hurt. Okay, the first level is gnashed up. So you got bruises. It's like boxers. When they first start boxing, so
Yeah.
you can still do it. You're fine. Then you got hurt. Okay, things are really starting to get bad. It means something starts to crack, something starts to break, but it doesn't have to necessarily. If you roll the right way, you're just at that level. Like you might get out of a car crash, you just have soft tissue damage.
Yeah.
Then you got cruelly hurt, where okay, boom, teeth are lost, fingers are broken off, body parts are starting to miss, but not necessarily. Again, it could be a lot of blunt force trauma, internal hemorrhaging, things like that. So many little things. You don't have like a specific over the top cinematic horror thing. Then gruesomely hurt, where it's just ice crystals forming in the bowels, and they come out of your pelvis. You know,
Okay.
and you're trying to stay awake and trying to walk, and oh no, your spine's been severed.
Yeah.
This is like serious auto accident, but you could still be in a serious auto accident where you look fine, but you are so bruised up internally, are at great risk. Then
Yeah.
finally dying, where um, something has to be done to try to stop the damage. I mean, it gets into um, triage level. Serious triage level.
Right.
Gruesomely hurt can also go into the triage level. And then finally,
I
dead.
think that's the thing. I was bringing that up to people because they always complain about what is quote unquote the death spiral, because everything that's ever been complained about D&D has been talked about forever but never fixed. One of
Yeah,
them is the death spiral. How come you can get beaten within an inch of your life, which is the
yeah,
single hit point? Because once you
yeah.
hit zero, then you fall over, and then it's time to die. But if as long as you have that one hit point, no permanent damage, you can, like you said, you could sleep it off.
Yeah.
And it's because they don't like the idea of, well, if you take a certain amount of damage, you'll start to not be as good in combat and you might start to lose. And it's like, well, maybe then you don't go fighting all the time, because
And, and
when you look at boxers or professional fighters, what do
yep,
you notice? They have scars on their eyebrows, they have
yep.
cauliflower ears. There are signs that these guys fight all the time for a profession. So why wouldn't an adventure look like that? And
So,
I get
so
that there's magic to heal it and stuff like that, but
yeah,
you're still going to go through the trauma of like, yeah, I've got a whole messed up face or whatever. There's a whole reason of like, not just the power of it, but using something like the Eye of Vecna or something magical to replace one of your eyes. Cause it's like,
right,
you know,
right. Now the secondary system for damage is your stats, and your stats go down as you get damaged. So, for example, let's say um, you're a barbarian and you're from a barbarian world, and a sci-fi traveler has entered your realm phase, or even came from another planet and is just checking things out and is trying to dig for something to that quote causes magic, so that they could see if it could be used on their world.
right.
Um, and he's hired you, Grung, the strong, and you got decent intelligence, but you need a 12 strength to wield the sword. It's heavy. A
Right.
normal 10 strength, no, and you got a 14 strength, so it's you'll get tired after a long battle, but yeah, you have no problem with it. You get into a serious fight, and you now suffer pneumothorax, which is punctured lung. Your strength goes down by 4. Your health, which is basically your natural constitution, natural armor, goes down by 2, and your dex goes down by 3.
Yeah.
So now you're slower, and you can no longer wield that sword because it hurts too much.
Right.
It's too heavy for you. However, you could burn willpower to try to wield it each round. You roll on your will to see if you could wield it normally. Yes, this round you can, because you're just mentally pushing yourself. But the moment you fail a will roll, you drop the sword. You can't use anymore. Your will can come back when you sleep one night. You ever like for example, we did the con this whole weekend.
Mhm.
We mentally were tired. We went to sleep,
Yes.
woke up, okay, we're fine for the next day.
Yeah.
And
Well,
so
even still, there was like a long drain. That night of sleep only gave you so much, because by the time Sunday comes along, like, yeah, my roommate was almost nonverbal. He
right.
was just, and I'm like, you okay? We were talking like the, I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
he's gone jutting brown, and jutting brow and looking like he's about to hit flint together for sparks. And it's like,
Right.
okay,
Right.
we're
So
gonna let him
in my
alone.
game, he maybe got down to a 2 or 3 willpower, and his health, the fatigue health, um, this would be false health, or maybe the health went down by 2 or 3 points temporarily, but then he came back up. One night sleep, the health goes back up, the
Yeah.
willpower comes back up, and then you're finally like, "Ooh, what was I doing last night, Flint? What are you talking about? I can't remember."
Let's see here. Some of the guests. Jess has appeared. She's crazy, but
Yeah,
she sticks around. And then Lasath, that's one of the guys I play with in that Rogue Trader game on the weekends there. Back in the day,
nice.
losing HP was not equal to losing health. Gygax's flavor was that HP was your ability to dodge, weave. You know what? Actually, I think I can. Oh, look at that. I'm learning fancy.
Nice.
Dodge, weave, and deflect near misses. Hey, we're getting there. It only took 4 shows, but we're getting there.
Yeah.
Once you go to 0 HP, you actually hit and die. Yeah, I keep hearing that, and I need to find the exact point where they turned it into the other thing, because they turned it, because
Yeah.
it's like, it makes sense until like a cleric shows up, and what does he do? He's like, I heal your luck. You won't get hit. It's like, no, he's healing your wounds. So at some point in there
Right.
they switched from it's your martial prowess and avoiding getting hit, and actually, whatever. Let's see. Still, I prefer health systems like World of Darkness and L5R. I liked both of those.
Oh yeah, I agreed
Yeah.
with that. Yeah, a lot
Where
of fun.
you got the boxes where you tick them and then they'll
Right.
give you minuses, especially in World of Darkness because they had that in Aberrant. That's their
Yes.
superhero
Oh,
version.
Aberrant was great. I love that game.
A very very open system, yeah, as far
Yeah.
as like making what you want, and then if you had that super stamina, they would give you would have a ridiculous amount of boxes to where you had so many bruised levels. It's like, well, yeah, that's the guy that they're unloading machine guns in, and he's not even feeling it. He's just coming to get you, you know.
Yeah,
So
I had a character, a skater girl, and we put her in Kremin as a playable character, You Go Girl, who could go almost to the speed of light and then just barely tip something and cause superkinetic destruction because of it. But she was a hyperactive teenager, so
big analogy applied to AC as well. Yeah,
right.
And that's always my thing too. Is again, I don't like talking about D&D, but we exist in the gravity well.
Yeah,
Things,
right.
systems where the armor doesn't make you harder to hit because that doesn't make, in my mind, I'm
No.
like, it doesn't make any sense. It's there it absorbs some hits.
Right.
And that was one thing me and my roommate were talking about because he'd been playing D&D for like 45 years, and I'm like, well, that's older than I am, so I will pick your brain for whatever fruits of knowledge I can. And he was talking about armor.
Wait, 83, 93,
it's over 50 years.
I'm like him, your roommate. God bless
You're just
him.
now realizing it. You're like,
he's a cool dude.
He is.
What are you talking about? I'm so old when that flatulate dust comes out.
Let's see here. This is Mr. Bear. Yeah, a lot of my viewers come over from the Mr. Bear channel. This is the fellow I was talking about who's designing the 5th edition superhero game.
That's cool.
Kind of interesting because he wanted the challenge of it because we were always joking. Because one of the things is with the big D20 explosion that happened with 3rd edition, there was D20 Cthulhu. And one of the moments that broke me was I was running the game and my buddy who was playing a doctor was like, so now I'm a level 2 doctor? What does that mean exactly? Was I not a good enough doctor before that now I am a better doc? And I was like, God damn it. This hurts my brain to think about. Yeah, the whole. So we always laugh about.
I would say you're an intern. Then the next turn is a resident. Then the next turn is doctor. Then doctor with experience. So yeah, but yeah,
I suppose you could get kind of crazy granular like that.
Right. I guess to go back to your level question, in my game, the levels are how good you are at your shtick or your skills. And as you gain more experience points, which is bought through Wubblies, which you could earn right and left if you play it right, you could improve your stats and improve your skills. So basically, there's not true levels per se. It's just building yourself up until it's thinking about the superhero. So I treat it as everybody is primarily freshman superheroes when they're playing Kremin or souped up heroes, But like there's one group where they all were doing weird mystic stuff, and it's like I may have to come up with stronger psionic rules and stronger mystic rules within the game. For example, before we just said, "Oh, you have magic. You can do any power, but it's done through magic." But then we thought, why don't we develop a magic system where you burn your willpower,
right?
And then after that, if things are really desperate, you can start burning your intelligence until you're 8, and you just can't do it. You just don't have the mind for it, and it's not a perma damage, but it's where it's
much like the physical injuries for the swordsman. You can't do it forever. You can't just I'm going to attack 3 times a round, for 15 rounds and not feel it. It's like exhaustion sets in at a point, and I like that with magic. I always think magic should be what is it? I forgot in which fantasy they described it, but a sword with no handle, where it's very dangerous to wield. Daryl, let's see here. Wasn't one of Runehammer games? Runehammer.
Yes.
Is
all right.
Crown and Skull. That is the one you're thinking of there, Daryl. Where instead of taking damage, you would cross off skills or break inventory, stuff like that, in order to make it Just yes, kitty. It would just be, instead of hit points, you would take damage. You'd have to repair your items or heal your broken hand or whatever it was
Oh
that
yeah.
took away the skill. But yes, that was Crown and Skull, which I grabbed the first 2 books of it. These are like the limited edition. They're very fancy.
Here,
Ooh,
open up. Let's see the art.
it's got the thing where, like, yeah, they put all the art, I think, towards the center of it.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, look at that. So,
oh, that's cool.
Got some
dwarven. Okay, I shouldn't bring this up, but have you tried out or played
Lamentations of the Flame Princess?
Yes.
Yeah, that's an interesting little system of his. I could have sworn at some point. I've got some of this guy's stuff. Speaking of clean line work.
Oh,
Luke Eidenschink. Yeah, he does great. He does like he uses the ink nib and just doesn't even pencil. He just goes straight ink to paper. And I've got a goblin riding a wolf that he did that is just awesome. The original for it.
Nice. Hold on, let me see if I can find my special dude. Or did the cats knock it down? Oh, they might have knocked it down. The naughty boys and girls. I'm trying to be rude, so I'm not showing my pelvis or stuff. You know, like, hey, look at my butt.
Yeah. As he was speaking about his horror game.
Yeah. No, I got this. I got this, and this was in '92. You know, it's from this guy, and I just thought, you know, skeletons were so cool. And it's like, and he just drew this for me. Yeah. 92. You know, I gave him some comics and talk, but I just thought, like, oh my god, I'll never draw that good. You know, when you're a kid. I mean, I was like in my early 20s, or not even 20 in '92, but or maybe it was. I don't remember. But you know, I was in my 20s, but just you know, I love this type of art for games and stuff because it just gives so much of the imagination to grasp onto for coming. Like you saw this coming towards you, and it moves efficiently. You're like, what the heck?
Did I say a wolf riding a goblin, Jess? I meant a goblin riding a wolf. But you know, either's cool. Hey, whatever you got to do, you know. Here, Jess thinks she's seen you. I've seen Charles somewhere before. If you put a top hat on, perhaps you thought he was Dr. Demento, but no, I don't believe so.
Jess Laws?
She's in Florida, so I don't know where she is.
Wow. Maybe somebody that
your camera
maybe she saw me at what is it? Isn't she like a famous Hollywood Charlotte or something?
Jess?
I don't know. I'm just being silly.
I'm doubting it. No, I don't think she is. But yeah, your camera has shut off. You are now the blackness. I speak into
no!
it.
Oh shoot! What did I do?
I don't know.
There we go.
There you go. Oh, what happened? It went to sleep or something?
Yeah. It's like, wake up, you dumb camera. Now, this is now. You ever play the chill system?
No. Bear the Gen X GM and his group definitely talk about it all the time.
Right. Because the thing that I always found interesting about it. Let me see if they got it in this one. Oh, they use the same thing.
What else does Pacesetter do? I've heard of Pacesetter games.
They did chill.
Is that all they did?
Before it was sold out. No, they did chill. Well, this is what's weird. They did chill a whole bunch of other games up in oh, they don't have the percent stuff. They did chill, Time Master, Star Ace, and some weird game. I forgot the name of it. Chill the board game.
You're talking about all kinds of cool stuff. I go on their website and all I see is 5e, and I want to kill.
Yeah, and the Tune, where you become a cartoon.
Yeah. Okay.
And a few others like that. Raging Wabbits. A few others. But I always found it interesting how, why did they go out of business? How did they screw it up? Now, is it that some of the other companies just kept putting out so much product that, like Marvel, they started doing more and more titles to squeeze out independence at the time? Before you
Yeah.
just had Spider-Man, then Spectacular Spider-Man, Ultimate Spider-Man. So you had 4 or 5 Spider-Man titles going on. So, what
Yeah.
do I get? The independent title or 4 Spider-Man?
Yeah, I was gonna say I can only imagine now because they bring up all these different Spider Verse characters, and I'm just like, what happened? Because I stopped reading. I think the last Spider Man I was reading, J. Michael Straczynski was writing it, and that's where he
Yeah,
added the idea of the character of Ezekiel, where they were talking about where his powers were more totemic than science, and he's like,
right.
why else do you think all of your enemies are like what is it, the vulture, the rhino, they're totemic creatures, the scorpion,
Oh,
and you are the spider. It was more kind of mystical, and you're like, okay, it's an
yeah,
interesting idea. Whereas now it's like, I heard they do the whole thing they did with One More Day, and I was like, nope, that's not Spider-Man.
yeah.
Spider-Man Spider-Man's not going to make a deal with the devil, even if it is to save Aunt May. So
No,
but,
no.
yeah.
It's like what? Wait. Mephisto's going to be in this latest Spider-Man?
I don't know about the movie, but this was a comic book thing they did. JMS wrote it under guidance from Joe Quesada, and that's what ended the marriage of Peter Parker and Mary Jane Watson. And that's why Peter Parker's been like hey, he's a hip bachelor, and then he doesn't have kids or a future or anything now. They like flushed that all down the toilet, and it was Joe Quesada admitted it was because he went through a divorce and he was being. It was like, dude, you
Don't
ruined
put your
you.
personal stuff in there. That's so dumb.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
Do not
that's like a.
insert yourself in any fashion to these characters. They are
It's like,
above
hey, I
you.
got a
You are
ball peen
trash.
handle. Boom, left ball. Boom, night ball. Guess what? You got no nuts anymore. So start writing good comics like you're 8 years old.
Yeah. But no, as far as the latest movie, I forget what they did. They did a whole multiverse reset type, whatever the hell
Right.
they did with it. So who knows? I think they were trying to get away from the stink of all of the Infinity War Endgame stuff. It was an interesting look into what happens in printed comics when you do those crossover events, and
Right.
then everything's just like, it sucks the life out of all of the individual ones for
Yeah.
the greater purpose, which is money. That's it. I don't give a
Yes.
shit. It's not a good story. It's about the money.
Oh my
So,
gosh. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, both. Do you write also?
I should write more often. I got a degree in it, which was stupid, but hey, what do you do?
Nothing wrong with that. I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
Who
Thank you.
knows? Maybe you could write modules for Kremin. Da da da.
There you go. I mean, if it is multiverse, that's easy. You could design a new world every time, and then you can,
Right.
if you flesh it out, then you can build
Yeah.
a source book or supplement out of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I think that is what had been one of my favorite thing about the diversity of different role playing games is I would collect them and read them just for the different characters and ideas and and not to springboard like, ooh, I'm going to take this idea, but just to see how other people thought. Like one of my most favorite disadvantages in every game I've ever read. There are two of them. One is from GURPS, and both of them are from GURPS, ironically. Yeah,
Okay.
generic universe role playing system.
Mhm.
Murder Addict
Right.
as a disadvantage, and they're basically it's a seeds for a serial killer,
Right.
or
Yeah.
spree killing or whatever. And I'm like, oh my god, and he just read that out. They actually put that out, and then the other one was Weirdness Magnet, where
Oh,
the
yeah.
the ground would open up, demons go running out, and one of them just stops and just looks to you and just says, "We want you to stay alive to tell the story," and then they leave, and then start decimating everything, you know,
Yeah.
or Earth's only talking dog or cat will come up to you telling you their marital problems.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
You're just ridiculous stuff. And I thought, my gosh. And I would have people tell me, because of my bizarre situations, that I'm a weirdness magnet. Do you ever see the movie Trekkies?
Oh God, it's been a while. Yeah. But yeah.
You're right after Leonard Nimoy. No. DeForest Kelly starts talking about getting a picture of an ooh la la girl with a woohoo cigarette on the back.
Yeah.
Uh, and then he said he smoked it. We go to the woman who played Tasha Yar, and she talks about, oh, we had these fans who did pieces of art. And here I'm watching it with my friends, and we're watching it, and this little hope just starts sparks in me. I'm like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. And my two friends look to each other and they're like, your artwork's going to be in this movie. We just know it. Why? Weirdness magnet. And boom, right in the center. See my signature. It was like
You
my
did you draw
art.
the picture of Tasha Yar and Data?
No, the close up of Tasha Yar as an
Okay.
animation style.
Oh, okay, okay. No, because
Right.
yeah, I know she talked to Brent Spiner and then she showed the picture that somebody
Yeah.
painted of them of Tasha Yar and Data like romantically holding each other after they like post coitus after that one episode, and I was
Yes.
like, that's very interesting. That's a vivid
Mine was
image.
a lot more innocent. And
Yes,
I gave that to her, and I just said, and I just talked to her about how fun would it be if this was turned into an animated series like the original Star Trek. So I went that with that approach. I
right.
still have the original drawing. She signed my original drawing,
Yeah,
and so I have that buried away somewhere. And she, it appeared in the film,
right,
has
right,
that drawing I did of her with my signature. So it's kind of like I'm in the Star Trek background universe.
right. Yeah, you're always
I,
popping up in the background.
right,
They
right,
call
right,
it,
and
they call him the puppet master. You know.
right, 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 and the guys, the two guys who I was watching it with, we're cheering in the theater just louder than anything else, and everybody's like, "What's going on?" I remember a lot of people try to approach us after, like, "What? You're art with your whatever," but Nivard, God bless him, he passed a few years ago. The original artist from Kremin, he's like, "You're like Kremin. You appear everywhere," and I was like, well, that's what Kremin. He appears everywhere to save universes.
Well, that was an interesting thing. I think the first game I sat down to of yours, you were like, "Oh yeah, the guy that designed this did the Rampage arcade game," and I was like, "Oh yeah," because I was like, "Yeah, I saw he was a special guest at Phoenix Con. I think it was last year."
Right.
And I was like, I wanted to go up to that. That's up in Appleton, though. It's a little bit of a hike.
Yeah.
And but I was like, man, I'd love to pick his brain because I remember, yeah, he designed. I forgot what that game was that was on the Sega Genesis. I brought it up when we were playing.
Mayhem.
Uh, it
General
was something like that.
chaos.
General Chaos. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that was the original. You bought the
Yes.
4-player adapter. Everybody was shooting each other. It was crazy, and I was like, "Wow, this is great." It was like tongue in cheek in the line along the lines of Pigskin Foot Brawl from back in the day, where you're
Right.
like, "Oh
Right.
yeah," it's like goofy and violent, and I was like, how did you get involved with the guy that did Rampage? And he's doing a card game now where you're almost like it's almost like a goofy version of being students at Miskatonic University, and you're jumping through portals and all kinds of wacky shits happening.
Portals of
So
Peril,
yeah,
where somebody,
how,
some dumb kid read out of the Velcronomicon, and someone.
so how did you get involved with him and working? And because you're doing your own board game right now,
Right.
and then there's like 3 other ones. You're kind of in this nexus
Yes.
of getting this stuff going
Yes.
here.
Weirdness magnet.
I guess. I
Yeah. No.
suppose.
Well, we would see each other tertiary, and he was always polite. Then he saw my game Auto Clash, and he's like, "Wait a second, I got this going on. Could you help me?" I said, "Yeah." And we
Sure.
started talking, and then we realized, what? We're only 45 minutes away from each other.
Oh, he lives in
And
Illinois?
yeah,
Oh,
you
cool.
know, right, right. So we
Yeah.
could literally, if you put together a playtest, I could get the Rampage guy possibly to come and
Yeah.
run Portals of Peril.
You'd have to not tell me though, because otherwise it's going to be like that Gary Con. I'm going to be like, man, you did General Chaos. That was so awesome. And I'd just be sitting
Oh,
there talking to him.
well, you want to hear something more awesome?
Sure.
There's a sequel.
To General Chaos?
Yep, he's working on it. It's going to be
No.
on Kickstarter. Blood Red Series.
No way. What is he doing? Is he going to make it like a Steam game or something?
That's what I believe it is.
Okay.
Hold on. Let me see if I can find a link for it.
Sure.
So I've gone blank for a second. That's because
Sure. No
I'm
worries.
looking to find
You're
the link.
typing, and we don't want to be staring up into your nostrils, into your brain.
Right, right. It's like, get that butt away from me.
You're terrifying us. Let's see here. Jess Laws is saying more craziness. Maybe I've seen him on Tank Cards Tavern, Legion of Myth, or Dungeon Damsel. There are others too. Those are other role playing channels or OSR channels. I'm not sure
Yeah,
if you've been on any of those.
No, I'm learning all this. I'm still very
So
green.
he is green. So someday, Jess, just not
Yes,
today. Ye
yes.
old
Oh, wait, wait,
geek.
wait. Yeah, yeah. Hey, hey. It's. I'm just trying to think right now. Hold on.
Sure.
There
Take
we
you
go.
take
Brian
your
F.
time.
Cullen. Brian F.
I'm just
Cullen.
I'm juggling for the audience here.
I could make two noises at the same time from the same end.
All right.
Good thing you couldn't see my face on that one.
Posted your show on the Discord because you care. What my show? I'm already up on
Yay!
the. I'm already on the signal to noise boost. Jess, like, yeah, if you scroll up on the same page, I'm
Yes.
there.
Oh, come on. I'm trying to find his link.
I do appreciate it
So
though.
people could sign up on the Kickstarter early.
Oh, he's got a little early sign up thing. Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
you said that's what we've been discussing too. It seems like a lot of guys because there's some games that made several $1 million, and it's like
Right.
why this game? And it's because they
Well,
employ serious marketing teams. you
right.
know? Yeah.
Well, not only that, is there a way I could like post something to you or
There's in the lower left there's a thing called private chat. Drop the link into there and I can pull it up.
I'm trying to find the private chat. Lower
It's
left.
in the lower left. You'll see a little thing said
Oh,
private chat.
left.
Click that and it'll open up and then you can drop the link in there and it'll post it to me and I can copy it.
Maybe it's not happening because I'm on
It's on the restream.
Oh, I see. I had to
There you go.
scroll it a little bit.
Yep.
So right there, yeah, you can pull that up. I wish I could have done voiceover in his game. I'm looking for like another direct link. That's too far back.
Major snafu. Oh my god.
Yes.
Featuring comedic voice talents. Look at this.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Oh, and here I'm going to send you the Kickstarter link for it, so you could send that out, and people can sign up, and then I'll give you my Kickstarter link so that you could post that, and people could sign up for the last minute. So that's the Kickstarter link where you could sign up for the major snafu stuff. That is such a cool image,
isn't it? Yeah, that brought me in because we played it over at Gen Con. We play tested it. But yeah, General Chaos Major Snafu. It is not fitting. Can we maximize this? Oh, there we go.
Look at that, huh?
Mm-hmm.
They take your cell phone if you're not watching your cell phone and scan the QR code, and then you could like sign up.
2006. Okay. That's crazy. Yeah, because we played the hell out of that. We were of that era of like having both Sega Genesis and
Put that back up.
Sure.
Real quick. I just took a screenshot so I could show him that.
We were showing it off.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. But that was back in the day of like Sega CD and the full motion video games and stuff. Like
right
was when consoles they were expanding like in all directions, and then it kind of contracted. And it's at the point now where they're not even gonna make discs or physical media for them. They're just like, meh, you get what gruel we give you, you fools. Oh, here we go.
Right.
Can't find the page for Major Snafu. Oh no.
Really?
Let's see. I think you added a little bit of juice here. Let's see if I can get this. Back it up. Well, we can't find this page. Take a chance.
Yes. Here, okay. Let me just pull up Kickstarter. I'm sorry that my screen's going blank.
That's all right. We're trying to figure things out. We're two old men trying to figure things out here.
What are you talking about? I'm younger than you. In my mind.
But I think injury cards would be cool with that, especially with you doing the artwork. Here we go. I think I found it.
Yeah.
Squad-based RTS Sega Genesis battle game. Hell yeah. Oh, he's in Homewood. Shit. I used to go in that. I was going to say there was a game store in Homewood that we played in early high school.
Right. Well, guess what? There's a comic book store by a guy, who looks like a young version of Will, the comic book guy.
Yeah. All right. So the sequels are Tarfu and Fubar. Oh,
yes.
Girl.
Yes.
See what we got over here. Deathbringer has been pushing hard this last week. He's probably doing well. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. We could probably go check it out. I'm sure if we share screen here, Deathbringer they're on Backer Kit, I think.
Okay, let's see. Show it.
I'm sure they're doing crazy. There it is, TTRPG by Professor DM. Oh yeah. I'll let you take a guess as to what their total is currently before I share screen here. Once I get over there,
Uh,
take
150,000.
you're a little off. You're a little off. I'll show you.
1.2 million.
Slightly over. Slightly over. They are at 1.094.
God bless them.
1,094,000. Yeah.
See, I like
Still
seeing
has over
that.
3 weeks left.
Wow. So yeah. They may get to it. See, that's the one. The two things is you have to become internet famous so
Mhm.
that you start to develop an audience that's just passionate about what you do. But you got to show the people who are willing to give you their precious time, to
Right.
become fans. Just show them grace. Just be thankful that they've even allowed you into their lives. I mean, the fact that you've allowed me here is
Yeah.
very humbling, and I am honored by this.
Yeah.
And,
Well,
and then
I think that's the thing, really. That's why I started streaming too. I jumped on DM James's channel. This is the first time I hopped on. Like I turned on the webcam, was like, all right, we're gonna jump onto YouTube and
right,
talk to these guys. And the thing with role playing games and board games and tabletop gaming in general is it's a social thing. And you need to get out
correct,
there and connect with people. It's about the connections that you make. And that's why I go to all these conventions, because post COVID, my home group collapsed.
yeah,
So we only play online now. Nobody wants to go
mm.
out, to people's homes anymore. We used to, go to my friend's house, cook dinner, talk about our week. It was a social
Right.
thing. Whereas now it's just on a screen and it's not the same. So that's why
No, and
I have to
and
go to
I
the conventions and talk to people and because I
yeah,
don't know, there's a human element to it that's missing without it. So
even smelling this. Oh, you bathed. Oh, you walk. Oh, you're wearing perfume as a cover up. You know, and what I liked about EggCon too was the demographics reminded me of being in high school. It was like 99% guys, and you had the occasional one or two ladies walking around.
right,
And that's
yeah,
what it was like for us. And I was like, oh, this is back to the old days, instead of where it became just pop and you have everybody playing, but it almost seems like okay, with the Kremin RPG, it's a lot easier to succeed. And the reason why we made it that way is you're a superhero. But when you fail, it's big. It's like, no. It's like Superman dying,
right,
when you fail. Um, but in this game, when I was playing like the new, somebody tried to have me play the 5.5, and it's like there are too many cheat codes. And somebody rolled like a 4 on the dice, and I was like, oh, with this bonus and this bonus and this bonus, I'm at 37 for success.
right. Yeah, that's the thing. I'm not a big fan when it's like I rolled a 16. Well, you miss, and it's like, good lord, how hard is this to do? But yeah, if you're succeeding on a 4, then it's like it's a little, that's yeah.
Right, right.
That's like that. That's almost like somebody putting the bumpers, and it's like, dude, you're in your 30s.
Yeah,
That's for old people and children. You don't don't put the bumpers
right,
out when we're bowling. Yeah.
right. And okay, now with we talked a little bit about systems. My mentality when I DM, or or in my case DO, dimensional overseer, um, my goal is to lose.
Mhm.
It's to entertain the people, let them have a good time. But my goal is not to win,
Right.
because if I win, all the characters are dead.
Right. And that all that does is it creates a conundrum for you because now you're like, well, how do we continue the story, or is it toast? You
Right.
know, that's just the
You know.
thing. And I had a guy in the third edition era who was like looking at how to cook the books because they didn't balance it yet. So you could give like there were NPC classes you could give to things, and he would always give like half a level of warrior or whatever it was. It was like the primitive screwheads version of a fighter, but it cost like half a level, so you would round down. So he always gave that to all the kobolds, so all the kobolds would have extra like fighter hit points. And it was like
Whoa.
Yeah, like, and that was he would be upset if none of us got injured and like we perfectly wiped out his. And it's like, dude, why are you cheering for nameless kobolds in your game? And that's the problem. Some guys like they're in it to win, and it's like play Warhammer like the miniatures game. Don't do this.
Yeah,
This is
yeah.
not the type of game for you. You know.
I had a guy kick me out of his game because I kept outthinking him.
Mm-hmm. He was
And
just
finally,
like, I can't have that. I need dummies here. That's it.
yeah, he finally just started screaming, I can't take this anymore, and almost wanted to get into a fight over it.
Yeah.
And it's like, and this person was also hyper rules, hyper rules, hyper rules.
Oh
But for
yeah.
me, rules
Yeah.
are a guideline. It's to make sure we have fun.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that
Well, that's what I tell people. Like when I try to explain to them at the base level what Dungeons and Dragons and role playing is, I say it's it's like cops and robbers, but you set rules. There's guidelines
right,
to it, and one guy's like a referee for the whole thing, and he makes sure the rules and guidelines are followed. That's all it is.
yeah,
You're supposed to let your imagination flow, and then whenever it's like, well, how can this be true and this be true? And then the judge steps in and goes, okay, we got to adjudicate this. There's a rule for it. Roll the
right,
dice. Okay, that's true. That fails because of this role. Moving on to
right,
the next
right.
scene, you know. Yeah.
And there can be scenes where, well, guess what? Both are true, and this is why, and both of you are now going to be unhappy.
Well, hold on a sec here. What is
Yes,
going
great
on here?
master.
I see Svin talking here. I need to
I
find
need
a
to
map
find a
and
map
floor
and a
plan.
floor plan.
I'll let you read it. Go ahead.
I need to find a map and a floor plan maker that is decent and user-friendly tools. I don't need 50 different fancy terrains and types of flooring, just basic. On that, we hope you succeed, because sometimes just KISS is easy, because, if you're a very good storyteller and your players are smart, and even if they're not smart, if you give them enough to chew on, they could do really well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's why you do theater of the mind. You learn to become descriptive with things, and that was one thing that we brought up. The last game that we played was that Super Dark. I think Zane was doing a game. It was a Shadow Dark superheroes game, but the way we
Okay.
introduced our characters was we did like a loading or suiting up montage, and it was like, okay, that's a lot cooler than people just going, my guy's name is this, and he has brown
Yeah.
hair and shoes, and you're like, who cares? Show me what he's
Wow.
doing, and you get
Yes.
right into the scene, you know.
Yes. Yeah.
So
One of the things, did I have you roll your Y for the Kremin game?
no, yeah, me and the designer of 13 Parsecs just did a quick combat against a big monster. So we
Right.
did
Right.
like
Right.
because you were just explaining how combat worked. I
Okay.
wasn't in a
Okay. So I
full
didn't.
play
I didn't have
test.
you do your Y. I did
We
not
didn't do
have
a full
you.
play test. No.
Okay. 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 Because just for fun,
Yep.
give me a number between I'm sorry that I'm going blank for a second.
No worries.
Give me a number between 1 and 100.
1 in 100. Let's see. 67.
Okay, 67. 67 is, this is why you became a superhero. So I'm about to pull that up. Gotta get my chart going. Go to Y, which is on page 100. The Y chart, 101. Okay, come on. Why aren't you working properly for me? Why is this not going?
Oh,
I'm listening.
speak of the devil, the GM, some call Jason, is here. We'll have to quiz him about the spookiness that occurred in Alabama.
Yes.
We have to come to a conclusion of what the hell exactly happened in Alabama that night.
Right. You said 67, right?
Correct.
67. Puzzle solving. Not exactly the same as curiosity or obsession, for that matter. You feel a compulsive need to solve puzzles and mysteries. So even before you put any stats down, anything down, we have you roll your Y. Somebody else might be defiant. Somebody else might be attention. Somebody else could be sadness. Somebody else could be dread, or even hedonism, atonement, or love, or hate, or vengeance, beauty, me want, chaos. And what's interesting is when the person has the Y, it's amazing how diverse their character creation can be, even with people with the same Y, which I just found it fascinating. And the
Yeah.
weird part is when people roll the dice and they get their why, they're like, wait a second, that's me. The people see themselves in it, which I think
Right.
really helps with the
Well,
role
I
playing.
think yeah, and that's good because I think that's always my problem with people have with alignment. Alignment doesn't really
No,
it doesn't flesh out why you're doing what you're doing. It gives you kind of like a somewhat of what you believe in,
right.
and then you go to like Palladium, and it's a little more definitive of like, well, you're a sociopath,
Yeah,
or
yeah,
you're a straight laced dude, or whatever. It goes like, okay, I can. That's a little bit more substantive. I can understand that. Whereas this is like, oh, this is my motivation, and that's what do actors always ask? What's my motivation in this scene? So, and that's cool that that's the first thing you roll because then you build a
right,
character to fit that. So
right,
you go,
right.
okay,
Which, like for example, with that, what skills would you then start picking up? What stats would you stack the way you want? Because I say here's 85 points, put them how you want. And base it's base 10 for everything, but you want a 5 strength, okay, you're really weak. You want high intelligence, or you want to be more of a slugger. You're going to become an investigator, military, police, fire department, PI. Are you a good guy? Do you work for the government doing this? So all these things start to fold and flower, and the thing that I've enjoyed the most is people are able to roll characters up in about a half an hour.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the thing with some superhero games. The more options that you have, it's like that could turn into like a multi-night affair. Like if you're building a character for champions, and they're like, "Here's 2,000 points in this enormous point buy system.
Uh,
Optimize this." Like you're,
uh,
like you're testing the tolerances of a jet engine. It's like I don't
right.
want to do that. I want
No.
to make a superhero dude. I don't want to do. I
Yeah,
don't want
and
this
then
kind of level of long division. Like I'm sending a
yeah.
monkey into space.
Well, if you ever want to, since you're in Illinois, correct?
Yes. Yeah, I'm over. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I was gonna. I won't dox where I'm at, but we're close by.
No, 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 no.
We'll
Yeah.
be in
Right. Right.
touch.
Right.
Yeah.
But if you'd ever like me to run Kremin as a demo for your group, that'd be great. Or any of the games or anything else, I'd be
Mhm.
happy to experiment with you.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I thought I asked you. Were you you were trying to go up to Gamehole Con or no? Up in Madison?
I'd like to go to Gamehole Con. Like
Right.
I was lucky enough to be a guest at this con, and
Right.
I remember I was going to sign up to play for games, and then it was like, how much do I got to drop for a table? Because I was going to buy a table to sell there, and
Right.
it was about as serious as going to Gen Con for a table.
Good Lord. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it 4 figures
Wow.
from what I gathered. Yeah, and
Okay.
I'm too small. At this
Yeah.
stage,
Yeah. No. Yeah.
to break even, I'd have to sell for that amount a minimum of 25 books, and actually double that
Right.
because of the cost of the books, and selling 500 and selling 50 books.
$50, $90 hardcover books. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be breaking even,
Yeah. Yeah.
basically for
Just.
the base cost and whatnot, so that I
Oh.
can continue to buy books. Which, I mean, people would have the game, but I'd rather just say, here's a PDF instead
Right.
of lugging costs, like 500 bucks or something.
Right. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
as I get stronger and bigger, then yay. If some people want to sponsor me there, all right, yay. What is this GoFundMe for? Stop it. I'm embarrassed. No, I'm joking. Um,
Right.
but I'd love to do Game Hole Con someday, and if get to a point where I'm invited as a guest, woohoo! Like I was lucky to be a guest
Yeah.
at
Yeah. Keep on
EggCon.
it and
I was honored.
yeah, keep on it and check it out because that one's cool too, especially since you're doing a bunch of board games, game crafters based out of Madison.
Yeah,
So like, yeah, there's a lot of connections to be made over there.
Game Crafters
Board,
is great.
yeah,
You saw how good the box looked from
yeah,
Quadrant Commander.
yeah. That
Game
was the
Craft.
funny thing, yeah, because the guy, the designer of 13 Parsecs, was at the other table and he saw that and he was
Yes.
like, he came over and that's what began the whole discussion about the combat system for Kremen and all that. And it was like, oh, okay. And because yeah, then he was talking about his game and they're a
Right.
small company doing their stuff. And I know I've run into them over at GaryCon because they have that one. the Supernatural Wars one, Night Shift, I think it's
Yeah,
called. And I was like, oh, okay, this kind of just feels like D&D with a little bit of like, your vampire hunters or whatever. But I
right.
like the idea of sci-fi stuff. I'm trying to find a good, finding a good sci-fi system that isn't just people going, well, why don't you just play Traveler? That's like, well, you know, it's it's about the core of the game. The core of Traveler is like that traveling hobo economic misery porn of it, where you're like
Right.
you got a busted down ship and you're doing what you can to get the money to buy fuel rods and all. Yeah, you're like, oh god, yeah, we got a space trash can that we're cooking our space beans on. And you're like, I don't want to do that. I want to do fun space stuff, not
Right.
worry about paying my taxes in space. So
Would you like to write a module game world where you have a very clean sci-fi world that Kremin can go to and save, or the superheroes have to go to and save? So
yeah,
the way it would start is scientists have gone missing from
mhm.
one realm phase X, and the
Okay,
heroes are from realm phase X. And there's a different story that we're doing, with that beginning. But this could be an alternate beginning. So it's the same beginning as that other one. So it's like, yeah, oh, we experienced this before. What is this going on? But it was a temporal echo. And
yeah,
and and with that echo, um, a divergent thing happens, and you end up on a ship that ends up, star warping, and then accidentally phase hopping, and now you're in your realm phase, and now the
yeah,
heroes need to try to solve the problem in your realm phase, and then they got to worry about getting back. So they actually have a wonder spaceship.
yeah. It's almost like what was that, Flash Gordon, where
Right.
they end up going into like this deep sector of whatever, and it's all just fantasy adventure.
Yeah,
So,
Farscape is basically Flash Gordon.
oh yeah, I never thought. Yeah, it's just a wormhole, pretty much. Yeah,
Right.
for
Right.
the most part. Yeah.
And then of course you got Buck Rogers, who was cryogenically frozen and woken up years later.
Oh really? I never watched much Buck Rogers. That's the thing. There was so much sci-fi back in the day. It was like, yeah, that was the one that I missed. I have the big crazy board game for it that
Wow.
I forget who made it, but yeah, that one where each person's like part of a planetary faction, and you're fighting.
Right.
It almost plays like Axis and Allies, but in Buck Rogers. But yeah, that's a fun little game.
What are
But
games that you've played that you really don't like, but everybody else likes, and you'll play it with them, but you're like, oh no, all right, I'll play it.
the one that's beyond the pale is Puerto Rico. I despise that game mostly because it's very much Puerto Rico. Like everybody loves it. It's on like the top fives of all board games. But I play it, and all they do is like whoever the new player is, everybody wants them to their left because of the way the play order works. So it's
Mm.
like you guys
Ha!
didn't fix. You guys didn't come on, cat. Get off of me. You
I
guys
want to
didn't.
show my backside.
She's like, I want to show my butthole, and it's like, no, cat. But
Butthole
but
kind of.
yeah, it's all about the play order, and that's something that they didn't fix. But for some reason, everybody loves Puerto Rico, and I'm like, eh. I think I
Yeah.
told you too. Yeah, I started out when we started off when Euro games were hitting big a little bit afterwards, because you mentioned
Yeah.
Mayfair, and that's the Euro game I always bring up to people is like people that design board games today owe a lot to Klaus Teuber and Settlers of Catan. Settlers of
Yes.
Catan brought the Euro game style and made board games popular, actually, because board games were just like what, Candyland and Clue. You're like,
Yeah.
whatever,
Monopoly at best.
Monopoly, stuff like that, where you're like, yeah, but you pull it off the shelf at grandma's house when you're bored, that kind of stuff.
Right.
Settlers of Catan and stuff like that. These were like, oh, this is where we're going to actually plan to play this and sit down and, get involved and invested in it, and then the only time before that had happened was all of the, quote unquote Ameritrash games, which was Fortress America, Axis and Allies, Conquest of
Hmm.
Rome, all those the big Milton Bradley, it's like a rifle case, this enormous box of a game where you were like, hey, we're going to play this Saturday. That's all we're doing because it's going to take that long to pull out all the pieces and put it back and
Mm.
play it. So, but yeah,
We're,
the Euro games like that, like there were good and bad because
yeah.
you started to realize the weakness of Euro games was they didn't like conflict. The
Right.
problem was without conflict, there was no player interaction.
Yeah.
And then all the game became was like I said when we were playing Outer Planet Peril was just
Panic.
blinders. That's it. We're all running, but you don't know where the other runners are until you reach the goal, and it's like, well, who won? I guess him. He had the most points.
Yeah.
Yay! Like that's not an interactive board game.
No.
So,
Talk about, if you're comfortable, talk about the interaction and what you enjoyed about Outer Planet Panic.
um, I'm trying to think. Well, there was the negotiation phase. That's a big one, especially
Yeah.
because it's like, oh, in a way, even if you're not buying anything, you're learning what people have in their hand.
Yeah.
And because yeah, you want to buy it from them for as cheap as you can, because once it goes to the academy, it becomes like 5 times as expensive. So you're like, ooh, can I afford to give him the money? Or there were a lot of times where I was like, I know this guy needs this. I'm just going to put it to the academy anyway because I don't want him getting a step ahead. So
Right.
there was a lot of that where you're just like, yeah, I'm done negotiating for now because I've got like 4 out of 5 of the pieces that I need for the Doomsday device plugged in, and
Right.
now we're at the phase where we're just like diplomacy is closed. We need
Yes.
to just
Yes.
hire spies so they don't come in and come get me. I think yeah, that's the thing too. Yeah, I'd like to see more of the spy phase because that adds a
Yeah.
level of like that sabotage. Because then you have to pay attention of how much people have installed in their device. Because what we're talking about the game is you're playing in kind of this hyper future, the very Kirby-esque wild idea races. Each of them is part of this massive federation, but they're working together, but they're all trying to become like the one dominant faction, and each of them has
Yes.
a plan, and it's secret. You only know the name of it, of the plan of what they're building. You don't know the
And what
exact
it does.
pieces, and then yeah, and what it does. So you might be, I was building like a singularity device, somebody else was building like a reality control device. So everybody's got a super device, and you're digging through these planets looking for the artifacts that you need, this old tech that you don't know how to create. You can only find it,
Right.
research it to repair it, and then prep it to install it into the greater whole of the device. So once you have everything plugged in, then you can roll at the end of the turn to activate it, and if you're the first to roll and end of the turn to activate it, you become the winner, which I loved because that reminded me of a board game that I played way back when,
Mm.
growing up in my childhood. I still have it on the shelf. I'll probably never sell it. As Talisman. Back in the day,
Yes.
you would get to the Crown of Command, and then you'd
Yeah.
roll every turn. You would say submit to my power, and if they didn't, you'd roll, and then they'd lose a life. And once they lost that final life, you won as with the Crown of Command, and that
Yeah.
gave them time to try to run up to you and fight you in hand-to-hand combat to wrestle the crown from you. So yeah, it reminded me of that, where multiple people could have their devices completed, but you still don't know exactly how to power it up or to activate it properly. So it could come down to that die roll, depending on how close it is. So yeah, it could be really kind of white knuckle at the end, which is good. That's good that it has that where it can get that close. So and
And
that
then spies
and that's
are
and that's the other thing that I liked was when you rolled on the planets to collect items. If you rolled a 10, or no, was it a 12? I'm sorry, it
well.
was because it was on D12s. You would get 2 items from the planet, so you got double
Yeah.
the effect. But as a balancing, you would give a credit to each of the other players.
Yeah.
So it's almost a balancing mechanics because, like, if you rolled a 1, you got nothing on the planet. Now all the other players had to give you credit. So it's like I like things like little catch-up mechanics that keep it tight like that.
Yeah.
Just
Thank you.
enough. It's not punishing, but it's just
Yeah.
enough to where it keeps it competitive. So, yeah.
Yeah. That was like a new mechanic that the other partners were like, "Oh no, why would you do that?" And it turns out it's amazing how many people like both sides of it. You return home, it's so bad, stretchers, fire department, it's in the news, tragedy. It's like the sub blowing up, except one survived, and made it back, and they need a GoFundMe to help with expenses, so it was that type of mentality.
Let's
Poor
see
game
here.
I got away from people. I actually hate them. Yeah, yeah. There are some people who hate cooperative games for some reason.
Yeah.
So what about a game where you're competing against each other, but you also have to get along? So you're getting along until you negotiate. Like if we had 3 or 4 players or more, like I said, watching lawyers and bankers playing Outer
Yeah.
Planet Panic, it was brutal. They were like yelling at each other, spitting. I had never seen more use of spies than any other game. That added an extra 20 minutes just breaking this and fixing that and stealing this and you know
Yeah.
it's just incredible.
Age of Thieves board game. I've never heard of that.
Galactus. Yeah, crunchy. Yeah, that's
The
another thing too with the games is I try to and my business partner with the mechanics, we try to make the mechanics friendly so that you know if you have a forgive the term a mundane in the group, they can enjoy it
right,
and
yeah,
they, and they can have fun. Um, I remember when I did Auto Clash, and the thing was to kick somebody off the stage when they get killed. In the first 4 minutes, this one poor woman was blown up, and I had to kick her off the stage. And I felt bad about it, and I said, "Wait a second. That means that if this is normal gameplay, that somebody will be bored on their phone, and that can kind of disrupt the game. So what can I do to make it more interesting?"
yeah,
So the moment a person dies, if they don't have clones, they resurrect as an AI car focused on destroy all flesh. They become the enemy to everybody.
right, yeah,
And
yeah,
boy, did that become popular.
yeah. Well, yeah, and that's something that you saw in a lot of circles come up. That's why they came up with that version of werewolf, where it's like one night werewolf, because
Yeah,
player elimination is bad. You're gonna sit there for
yeah,
3 hours while they finish a game of werewolf. It's like no, the person's just gonna go watch TV or leave. You
right.
don't want that for a party game. So yeah,
No,
it's yeah, player elimination's a big one that you have to go with. Yeah, cooperative games. I don't know, Spin. Maybe sometime when you did say you only have so many days free. Tabletop Simulator on Steam. There is get it whenever it's on sale because you can. There's plenty of board game modules you can download into it to play with people. So if you can't, because Spin's over in like Kansas, he's way out there or
oh,
Nebraska. I
cool.
forget where he's out.
Everything's
He's
up
out.
to date in Kansas City. Go on.
So like yeah, there's a lot of cool cooperative games. The ones that I find best are the ones that are punishingly hard because you're going to lose. And the problem with
Right,
those is like you said, people that are mundanes or normies they'll be like, why are we playing this? It's just punishing. And it's like, well, it's because
right,
you're learning what you're doing and you're going to get better at it to the point. And this is at base level difficulty where they're really
right.
hard. And then once you start, you realize what you're good in, then it becomes all right, how do we work together well? And then that it's going to be really easy. And then you crank it up to like the next notch of difficulty, and it's about challenging yourself. That's what those
Agreed.
games are for the co-op ones. And it's hard to balance that. There's very few. I'd say Spirit Island is a good one.
Oh, that's a fun
Uh,
one.
oh, I love Spirit Island. Aeon's End is another really good one, especially if you like deck
Right,
builders. Those are the ones where it's like it can be tough, and you have to look at it and go, okay, I'm going to specialize, and it doesn't have to be. You have to get out of the whole I'm the MVP, I'm doing the most damage, because a lot of times in Aeon's End, it's like I'm going to play the guy that's like I could do this, and it'll modify your
yeah,
deck for next turn to make you do stuff, and then you could be a support role. So you have to find a niche that you like to play and get really good at it and to support the team, and then find the guy who's like, okay, that is the guy who does really good damage. I'm going to support him, and that just kind
right.
of becomes a force multiplier. It's like a creative kind of problem solving with the co-op ones, where yeah, as opposed to everybody just killing each other in a regular game, which can be fun too.
Yeah.
Like I mentioned with that one game you were talking about with all the lawyers and bankers and stuff. Yes, watching them play John's Company would be great because that was the one that about the.
Oh,
Did you ever see that one, the East India Company, where you're trying to pretty much subdue the continent of India as you're building up the trade there, and you have to generate the ships in the Indian Ocean that are going to ship items back to Europe, and you're buying shares in the East India Company and praying that you're doing well so that the stock goes up and then everybody gets
right,
their shares and all that. And it's funny because like the guy who's the chairperson has a higher chance of retiring because of all the stress. So you have to roll, and if the chairperson retires, then everybody has to do a vote to see who's the next chairperson. That gives them a lot of power. So there's negotiations of like who's the chairperson, who's the guy who's handing out like the writs of trade to move goods from India to England. And it's all about once your guys retire, you purchase them like a big manor or a castle, and that's how you score your victory points. It isn't about like how well you helped each other out. It's about did you get him a Scottish castle? Did you get him like a cool manor in the hinterlands or whatever? And that's how you get your victory points for the game. But I think he's frozen, guys. This is really creepy. Are you there, Charles? Nope. He dropped out of the channel. He'll hop back in. We'll get him in there. Because I was like, man, he's really he's really jazzed about this. Look how happy he is. Hopefully he'll be back in soon here. We're getting about that time here. We're a little over 2 hours. Anybody have any questions or concerns here? You got a lot of Sven and Jess talking to each other like it's their private chat room here. Pandemic Rome. The pandemics can be fun. They did one based off of World of Warcraft, actually. What's up, cat? That was the Lich King. You had to fight the Lich King, and each of you could play like one of the heroes, and it was kind of cool. You went and did raids in dungeons and stuff, and fought off the minions instead of like the disease cubes. It was the Forsaken, so it was like ghouls and abominations. You had to clear them out. But there was another pandemic. I'm trying to think. There was a smaller one. It was like a card game that was really quick to play. Oh, there he goes. He's gone. I have concerns about Jess. You and me both. Let's see if he hops back in. Hopefully he isn't like, my laptop exploded. Lord Almighty, it's over. He's probably trying to figure out what happened and what have you. But yeah, I met Charles over at EggCon, or EGGCon as I was calling it, because it was for E. Gary Gygax up in Lake Geneva. I'm our talking to everyone. IDK, what he's doing. Okay. There are a ton of pandemics. That is true. That is true. That, and there's like pandemic type games where they follow that same thing. But yeah, I'm not our. Okay. But I'll give him about 2 more minutes here before I we'll pack it in. It's a shame that Charles couldn't say goodbye, but let's see here. I haven't played Pandemic in years. I've never tried any of the alt versions. Yeah, there's all kinds of wackiness. There's like a Cthulhu Pandemic and a few other ones, but I think that's the thing. Playing in these other games, like Sven said, he's a war guy. What war games do you play, Sven? Do you play miniature games, or are you talking like I played Risk, so I'm a war gamer because I played Risk? Messing with you, but but having coming at him from different ways, it's all the same math. It's looking at resolution mechanics, how things work. That's why I like games that have kind of randomness in cards. That's crisis management, and that's the thing that I understood about Euro games, where they're very much not about. They're like random rolls, card draws. No, and I'm like, well, that's why I liked what was that? Game of Thrones, the Game of Thrones board game. Before I read any of the books, Gen Con 2004, I played the Game of Thrones board game. And what I liked about it was all of the randomness affected everybody. Hey, here we go. Whoop.
The phone died.
There we go. The phone died?
The iPad died. So
no worries.
Yeah, I felt really bad about that.
No, that's okay. I was like, something happened. I thought it overheated or whatever.
Work room, so it's very messy, so I apologize.
Oh, no, that's all right. Yeah. You're just in there getting ready to bedazzle a shirt or what have you.
yeah.
Let's see. Chat. What's happening here? Miniatures. We play Empire Builder by Mayfair. Oh, there you go.
That's a fun one.
No hurry. I twitch. What's this here? I have a worry. I need to find a game I can learn to DM in a week or two. To DM. Oof. Something simple.
Kremin the RPG.
Yeah. Oh, look at that little black cat.
I'll send them the game for free as a way of saying thank you through you.
Oh, okay.
So I will send you links to it. I think I sent you links to the Kremin game. So you have my permission to send it to them as a thank you.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I will. I'll fire it over. Oh my god. It's going to be like back in Alabama, the cats, they wanted to meet you.
I got cat mouse.
Oh, Hat Mouse, what do I got here? Let's see, which, if any, have you played? Let's see here. I could shoot you, Kremin. I would say if you want to learn to DM something in a week or two, you need to whip up something real quick. I always recommend it. It is the du jour thing is Shadow Dark.
That's a good one too.
Shadow Dark's real quick and easy.
Yeah.
If you're looking to do something real fast, let's see where are we at here.
But Kremen's more fun.
Yeah, there you go. Disagree, Jess. Let's see.
No, you're not. You're awesome and cool, Jess. The world's better because you're in it. That's a fun game.
Risk on my phone. Well, Risk is Risk. It's easy enough.
Boy, every time I get on my phone, I feel like I'm playing Risk.
So you do historical miniatures there, Sven? There you go. What is that? Oh, Dinosaurs Attack. That artwork. I remember that. Those were great. You'd have the army guys all olive drab shooting a bazooka at a T-Rex and stuff.
Right. Or kids getting eaten in school.
Yeah, they're like, I love it. Yeah, they're just busting through the wall, biting people in half. Take a check at Ashes of the Phoenix Born. Mixes cards and dice in a deck building game. There you go. Portals of Peril. It does have that goofy art. Did he do that goofy art for all the?
Yes.
He did all the goofy art for his games.
Yeah.
There we go. I'm gonna have to look at that Ashes of the Phoenix Born now.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. Ashes of the Phoenix Born. That's the one where you're playing. I think I've played this at GameholeCon. Now that I think of it, yes, Plaid Hat, Ashes Reborn. Yes, this is an interesting one. Yeah, where you have the different dice and they activate different abilities. That is indeed a cool one. Yes.
Yeah, that's a weird looking game. The artwork I thought was okay. It's like the typical art doesn't match the cover stuff, but it was still. I thought it was a lot of fun. But sometimes I'll look at the monsters. But this is like Us.
Yep. Yeah, there's always one of those in a role-playing game now where you could flip to it and go, oh, and it's usually in the section of what is a role-playing game.
But what's funny is that they're looking at Mystic Papers, but it still looks like people playing D&D or something. It's like it's just D&D stuff. Oh, that's Buddy. Buddy, what are you doing?
He's like, you picked me up earlier. Now do it again.
That's Buddy.
Oh, wow, that's a big one. He's a big chunker. Let's see here. I have looked at Shadows of Estrin Prologue, and I like it. I was going to run it, but player schedule issues. Yeah. Like I said, it's got Shadows of Estrin. I don't know. The setting's really cool. It's beautifully artistic because it's all like French painters that did it. So you look at the artwork in it, and you're like, wow. Because, when we went to pick it up at Gen Con, because some of us had backed it on Kickstarter, I just got the regular one, and my friends went there, and they were like, would you like us to paint like a picture in it? So on the end paper, my one guy's book, my one friend's book, he painted this immaculate raven. I remember I told him, I was like, don't ever sell that book. If you're ever going to sell that book, I will buy that book from you because that is beautiful. But yeah, great artwork. The problem is just I don't know if it was the system or the adventures, just something wasn't clicking. Let's see. What's that RPG that has just 2 stats? Can't be too hard. Are you talking about that weird cocaine owlbear that we were playing?
Oh my God. Did you see the movie?
No, the cocaine bear? No, I heard that was Ray Liotta's last film, and I was like, God, to go from Goodfellas to that.
I think she wanted to screw it up and be like, ha, like it was a dumb film and I'm going to screw it up. But because of the way she screwed it up, it made it even better. And I think that it just mentally shocked her. She's like, no, how can I love this crap? But it's from the couple scenes I saw of it, it's great. And people tell me you got to be drunk when you're watching. It's like the Pink Floyd, or it's well, you got okay. One of the weirdest experiences I had when I was in high school was Pink Floyd was playing next to Rocky Horror Picture Show. And a whole bunch of us friends thought, hey, let's go see Rocky Horror Picture Show because it's so weird. And we saw Pink Floyd the week before, but this was a day when the really tough burnout people came out, and they saw us come out, and they're like, "Let's beat up the Rocky Horror Picture Show people." Like, I was wearing fishnet stockings because I thought I was funny, and shorts, and
Yeah.
being goofy. We throwed rice, and we ran. And because I knew the cemetery so well, I like knew a busted crypt. I was like, "Come on, crawl out with me. Let's go into the crypt." And we hung out for about a half hour. It's just like being quiet, hearing them run by, and we eventually lost them. And then we crawled out of the crypt and thought. And then later, it's like, this would have been a great horror movie. Yeah, that would have been so cool. Like monsters attacking us, And then we went to play D&D later.
There you go. Oh, are these the glasses you were talking about? The square and circular, like, yeah. It's almost like did you ever read Transmetropolitan? It's like Spider Jerusalem.
Oh,
He
yeah.
had the glasses like that.
Right. I mean,
There you go.
it's funny because people at first don't notice it, and they're like, "Oh, I like the different color." Wait, what?
Yeah. They fail their sanity check and lose their mind.
Right. And those who are really into symmetrical are like, "I can't stand it. They're not symmetrical. Oh, it's just breaking my brain." I wish I could share images. Wait, I can share images.
In a way, yes, you can.
I'm wondering if I should share my latest. Pain. If I should share an image from Auto Clash. Oh no, I could share the map from. I might be able to share the map from Outer Planet Panic.
Yeah, that's the other one that I did not get to try out was Auto Clash. We had it set up there, and I was like, I completely didn't even think about it, and I was like, oh shit, we didn't get to play that. So one of these days, I'll have to try that out because like I said, I cut my teeth on Car Wars. That was like the first RPG and first in general games that we played.
I hear Car Wars. I've never played Car Wars, so I'm looking forward to trying it someday.
Well, it seems like it got supplanted by Gaslands. Gaslands is the new one because people love it because all it is they're taking Matchbox cars and then putting like little machine guns and other things on it.
So. Yes. That's like one of my fantasies with Auto Clash is to license it out and have Johnny Lightning or something make cars out of it. How cool would that be?
Yeah.
Have you ever been to the licensing expo?
No.
That place is wild.
Yeah. What is it? It's just people trying to get their IPs licensed to other different whatevers, or what?
It is, and it's the major companies basically having a like what look at my pompadour outfit. It's bigger than yours. Oh, look at my pompadour outfit. And
right.
It's a lot of fun. But you got Mattel
so they just have like their portfolios of different IPs and what they're offering.
Right. But
gotcha.
It's the size of an actual house instead of a building.
Yeah.
It's like it's about as intimidating as Gen Con. Gen Con, you have a whole bunch of little booths, but imagine every booth. You got a house next to a house, next to a house, next to a house.
Yeah, I've seen those. Some of they have. There's very few left in Gen Con because they're at like the 3000s now. It used to be they were only like A through D halls were open. Now it's like A through G. Like they take the entire side of the building. Like back when I first went to it in 2004, there were still other conventions happening at it. Now it's like it's spilled over into the football stadium. Yeah, it used to be. This was over 20 years ago. Now it's
really. What was the con going along with it? Like some spooky World Con or something like that?
No, it was something stupid. It was like the John Deere convention or something like that. So it was, it was something else. But no, now they're all over the place. Like every hotel that's connected by a sky bridge is full of Gen Con shit. The football stadium's full of Gen Con stuff. Yeah, all full.
Are you going to Gen Con?
Yes, that is in 2 weeks. What's today? Tuesday, so a week from tomorrow. Not even 2 weeks. So a week from tomorrow.
I'm actually going to.
Yeah.
Okay, I got that up. There we go. And then let's see. Share. Will you allow me to share?
Let's see if you can. Window. Yeah, let's see if something pops up here.
Share this window. Does that work?
There we go. Screen share. Do I do that? Oh, there we go.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the map.
Yeah.
So.
And you said there was only 6 colors?
Yeah, I'm going to try to zoom in.
Yeah.
Oh, it's really slow. But if you take a look,
I was surprised nobody played those guys, the dinosaurs. That was like the
yeah,
first one. I was like, these are dinosaurs, but they got
right,
space
right,
suits.
right, right, right. You know, but if you take a look there, that's just red, 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 blue, green,
Mm-hmm.
green. So same colors there. The
Yeah,
red goes through there, and yellow, yellow. So that's it.
yeah. You were just
But
using
by
the what was that? The CMYK,
no,
pretty
it's not
much.
even CMYK. It's the dot layout.
Yeah. Oh, there
But
you go.
right, but you see, it's only these four colors in this.
Yeah.
Plus with the black, that's five colors. But from it, and boom, and just imagine this thing in fluorescent. I mean, actual fluorescent ink. So that's the game our hero played.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
And
cool stuff. That
yeah,
yeah, it's like I said, just the color for it, and you did all this traditionally. You drew it with by hand,
it,
or
it was a group of us together. The main lead artist was a gentleman from Haiti
okay.
who had a much stronger spell. So I did the roughs and
Hmm.
had it to him, and he just did great.
Yeah.
You know. Oh yeah, I might be able to show this off to Auto Clash. So this is from the main board. All right, and so these are actual cards, but the artist who did this
Hmm.
survived a double stroke,
Oh wow.
and he's a 2D, 3D artist. So he built these out of 3D and did
Hmm.
traditional. Um, and yeah, he was just passionate with it, with how he did this together. So, but I like having this art because it feels, it feels like, remember the old dinosaur books or the war books when you're from the 50s and 60s.
A little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I just wanted to get a feeling of that.
Yeah,
We got,
but a buddy of mine brought that up when when he's trying to get into kind of the headspace for space games. They had the old it was called like Terran Trade Confederacy or something
right.
like that, and it was all the old Chris Foss artwork for ships.
Yeah,
He had all the really cool checker patterns and other different like painting styles that he had for ships, and he was just like they were just great books to flip through to just get ideas for science fiction and stuff like
oh
that. Yeah,
yeah.
these are great for just all the cool images of different cars and whatnot. Those are evocative artwork, man. That's the thing. It pulls you in. You need it for
And
stuff.
this will be the last I bug you with the art, because I
Sure,
know
no
it's like,
worries.
what's crazy about this one is, you ever watch Godzilla the movie?
Which one? The original?
Yeah, the first one with Akira
Hmm.
Takarada in it.
They use the oxygen destroyer to kill him.
Yeah, yeah. Well, his daughter did the logo for Kaiju Nekano Rari.
The daughter of the director.
No, the daughter of Akira Takarada. So she did that. She
Monster
painted it.
Cat.
Yeah, Monster Cat Rari. And that was the black and white I showed earlier.
There you go, Jess. There's some artwork for you. Big crazy monster cat.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like how she's just chilling in the shade over there
Right. Right.
underneath the enormous cat monster.
I know. Yeah. And even the black and whites are just stunning.
Well, the black and white looks great because that looks like the first page of like a manga. You flip
Right.
in, it's like, where are we going from here?
Yeah. And then what's really funny is right here, the fishmonger lady, she's offering fish to what she considers the cat god, so she doesn't destroy a building for appeasement. And she's like, "Woman, just run!" And all the cats are surrounding her, and like to her, ninjas smell like mice. She just slammed the car to show how annoyed she is with her static electricity.
And this is a comic that you did?
Yeah, it's a comic we're developing.
Nice.
Jason Sprigg and I, just incredible stuff. And we're thinking of a scene where Rari is standing up and she becomes more bipedal the more angry she gets.
Yeah.
And she gets more powerful. So we're thinking of just having 4 helicopters flying in to bring her a samurai sword. Just over the top ridiculousness.
Yeah.
I think this one I found. I know that might take too long to open up. Hold on. This is fun. I can't. And I also really want to thank the everyone who's gone. Oh, here's one. This is like an enemy character for a game called The Cockerel's Fist, but we're changing the name of it. So in this game, you're going down a dungeon.
And share the screen again really quick.
Yeah, and you can find all these nasties within the dungeon. So this one's a nightmare peddler. So what she does is she steals your nightmares, turns them into food, but when somebody else eats it, you lose a skill or a passion or language or something. And she starts to switch things around, like you might speak Spanish and love your church. And then imagine if she gave away the faith of a cleric to somebody else.
See, and that was my thing. That's why I didn't like level drain in D&D. It was too mechanical. And that's why I always said, it'd be cool, if in Car Wars you had those brain tapes to clone yourself and stuff. You always had to write down what your memories were, where your levels were at. If you got level drained and then you had to...
in Car Wars?
Yeah. There was tech for that. You do brain tapes and then you could reboot yourself pretty much. But I thought that's how it should be. You have to write, and then so if somebody hits you with level drain, you'd go, "Oh shit, where was I?" And then you'd have kind of a log of "Oh, I'm not going to remember X, Y, and Z dungeons or adventures because my memories were stolen or whatever." That's why it's just easier to take away attributes. But that would be cool if you had that, where it's you lose time.
Yeah,
and then it gives you something to role play with. But I came to the conclusion D&D is not really a role playing game here. Let's see here, end of scene. Oh, more monsters.
Yeah, this is probably going totally berserk.
You find a giant scorpion in the desert.
Yeah, the scorpion and others. But so in this form, you imagine 4 helicopters carrying a giant samurai sword, and she just grabs it and starts fighting with the samurai sword as a giant kaiju. and then blowing beams of destruction and whatnot.
There you go.
Yeah, Rari is tough. I'm sorry, but back to the Car Wars. Yeah, we have a section where you could buy up to 3 lives, and you can get blown up and destroyed and come back again. And basically, as far as Master Computer is concerned, if you die a 3rd time, you're not worth driving the cars anymore. You're not skilled enough. So
this is a little inside baseball here. How do you find all these awesome people to come in your channel? And Jason gets it correct, right? Where he says he goes to the cons, meets them, and gets blackmail material on all of them. So there you go. That's how they will all join the show, whether they like it or not.
I actually blackmailed him.
Kind of, a little bit.
Yeah. I told him about the Pootergeist, the most terrifying creature ever known to man.
Yeah, they'll always be on YouTube there, Jess, if they want to come and see. And we'll see what's going on. You got irons in the fire. I'm going to keep people updated for when this stuff goes live on Kickstarter and what have you. So,
thank you.
Yeah, for no problem.
That's an honor.
But let's see. Double check. Make sure we've covered everything. I'm double checking what I put on the description officially here. Blah 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 blah. Tonight, with pleasure with an EGG Con. Discuss Kremin, board game design, and his work as an artist. I think we've covered all that.
Okay. Can I show one last thing?
Sure. Yeah. Sure.
This is we just got the artwork done for it. It's a story. It's known as the. Now I gotta find it on the thing properly. It's known as the Books of Lilith.
Okay.
And Lilith is a psychopath and a serial killer. Except she accidentally discovers that monsters are real. So,
Oh, that's right. She becomes the monster serial killer. I think you were
right,
talking about this.
right.
Oh.
And I just found the image. Oh yeah. I found it. Okay. And I think you're going to find it interesting. Let me just smother it. Thank you for letting me do the goofy show and tell.
Oh, no worries. Yeah, that's I like
I'm
it
like
because
an eager.
well, it's kind of been in the air. We've been discussing art and all that stuff
Yeah.
because I was telling them how I asked you about AI art because that's the big thing now. Guys who just don't have
Right.
the means to pay artists are utilizing new tools to kind of get it done on
Yeah.
their own.
Yeah.
She's making a nice little Caesar salad out of a whatever the hell that is, some
Right.
kind of
Right.
some kind of spawn of Dagon.
Yeah. Who knows? You know. And you notice something in common she has if you look at all the pictures.
I don't know. Oh, she's cooking.
She's left-handed.
Oh, okay. Means you can't trust her.
Her hand is sinister. But
This sinister hand.
so the joke is she has a cooking show. She
Yeah.
is also married to a congressman,
Okay.
and she hunts monsters because she's a murder addict.
Well, there you go. Oh, so that idea led to this the murder
Yes.
addict.
Yep. So GURPS
See,
led to the creation of Lilith.
and that's why I tell people, man, role playing books, even if you're not going to play them, sometimes you will get useful little nuggets out of them that'll lead to something.
Oh yeah, one of my favorites, and this is my friend's art. He's really good. Les Garner, same guy who did the Auto Clash. Like I said, survived a double stroke, lost use of his left side. Now he's regained most of it through just grit and not giving up. But you know, it's like, wait, she looks like my wife. What's going on here? So enough of that.
Alrighty. Well, sir, it is a little over 2.5 hours,
Man,
and it's
why so long?
time to wrap it up. But no, yeah, we covered a lot.
Yes, we did.
Let's see. Yeah, next week is going to be we're going to be out over into Gen Con, post Gen Con. So in 2 weeks, my next guest is going to be Aries Marks. He's the developer of the Roguelite RPG. And I played that at Gen Con, and I was like, that's pretty badass. And I have him. Is that a stuffed cat? I didn't know. I was like, this things are getting real creepy. Jason, you're going to want to roll back and listen to Charles's anecdote about the time he spent in Alabama. There was
Yes.
some spooky cats involved and a lot of craziness. So, anywho,
I've had a blast.
Yeah, it was a good time. We went through a lot of stuff. Everybody loves games. Everybody loves comic books. It was interesting to see who all plays board games in the chat.
All of them.
We're all connecting here. That's what it is. Everybody's sharing their hobbies.
And again, that offer is open if you ever want to get a group together and have me demo some of the games or run Kremin, let me know.
Sure.
And
Absolutely.
again, I'm very humbled that you've allowed me here, and this is an honor. And thank you for letting me jump computers because the one died.
No worries. Yeah, I was like, we're gonna give him another couple minutes. Hopefully everything's okay. His house wasn't sucked into Oz or anything like that. So.
Oh. Speaking of Oz, did you see that creepy movie Bugaboo? Or it's Emma Stone and
Begonia.
Yeah, Begonia.
Is that the one where the what's his name? Jesse
Plemons.
Jesse Plemons is a weirdo that kidnaps her. She's like some kind of executive. Yeah. I'll have to check that out. I heard that's a bizarre one.
yeah. Well, when we see each other in person, we'll have to talk about that. Boy, now I want to talk movies, but I got to go.
All right, I'm going to end the stream here, guys. We'll catch you next time. Take